Yo, what's up, guys? We are live with the Bonehawk podcast. Holy crap, do we have a lot to talk about today? Like, holy crap. I could not put that in the title of my video because I'm terrified of demonetization, but holy crap. Joining me, as always, Hater and Shiro. Gentlemen.
Hello.
Ooh, that sounded like an echo almost.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
I am the I am the voice in haters' head. Wait.
What?
that was
Why has it got to
weird.
be in my head? Why can't I be the voice?
Oh, okay.
In your head.
Okay. All right.
Well, you
We'll use
guys-
the Firestorm Matrix. And...
You guys are like 2-in-1, like a character we're going to talk about today.
Oh.
Before we get started, though, I just wanted to say that if you're listening to this and you have any sort of comments or anything that you want to say about anything that we talked about today, you can leave them in the comments section down below, and we will review them on the next podcast. There weren't really many conversation point comments on the last video, so we're not really going to cover that today. But just in case you wanted an answer or you want a little bit more clarification on something we talked about, or you dislike an opinion, or maybe I burped accidentally and wanted me to know it, something like that. Just let us know, So that out of the way, two characters revealed today that I think we should talk about. NOOB SAIBOT and SHANG TSUNG. Which one do we want to go through first?
Well, there's more meat and potatoes with Noob, so
Yeah, I guess we have
there's way more to go off with Noob Saibot.
Yeah, he had like a whole.
So I guess it really depends on which one you want to savor first.
Well, let's talk about Noob because they dropped a whole gameplay trailer for
Yeah.
him, right?
Ye-
I'm just gonna have that playing in the background here while we chatterbox it up. But yeah, he looks like a lot like they kept a lot of his MK9 stuff, which I really liked. I was trying to think of like classic moves that Noob has, and I could really only think of the teleport. I don't know why.
More teleport characters.
More teleport characters. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you're worried about zoning in this game, I mean, whatever. But
Right? Oh, I hate the zoning. Just play a teleport character, dog.
just play a teleport character, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just play a teleport character.
And yeah, I liked that they kept having his little shadow buddy. I think that's cool. Is that just like I'm not sure I know too much lore about Noob outside of the obvious Sub-Zero stuff, but is that like a separate other character or like something that he actually like?
He has some sort of
Construct.
shadow magic or something, right? Like
Yeah.
his
Yeah, I think that's always
transformation
kind of
after he
his
died
thing.
and was resurrected and doesn't use ice anymore, but uses some sort of like shadow power.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, he went through his edgy phase.
His edgy
Going
face.
through his edgy phase, yeah.
Yeah, if there's anyone that could be considered an edge lord, it's freaking him. I
It's
noticed
cool.
that-
One of the designers described him when they were talking about how they were designing him and the way that he looked and stuff like that, and they referred to him as like a specter, like to kind of have that image.
Right.
And I think that's like really accurate. Like his cloak is all tattered, and he looks like a wraith or something.
Yeah.
Like he looks ghostly, not like a demon, but like something ethereal.
like a reaper or something.
I,
And he's got
yeah,
that scythe
super
too.
cool. Yeah,
For
and
sure.
he's got the farm equipment,
The farm equipment.
right? He's gonna
Yeah,
cut down some tall
weapons of
grass.
his were a bit weird. I like that he
But it's
pulls
cool.
that blade out of himself. Like,
He harnesses it in his back, right? It's all Grundy
oh
style.
my God, yeah, it's like
Pulls it right out. Like his whole aesthetic, his design is super. It had like my complete and undivided attention. Like
Mhm.
it elicited an emotional response that I haven't had yet. Like I'm very excited about this character.
He looks so cool. I noticed that he has the same slide projectile and tackle projectile that he had in MK9. And I really wonder if they're going to make it an overhead and low like they did. Because they look fairly fast, and that would concern me a little bit, but...
Well, the tackle looks like it does a crushing blow as well. I don't know if that's just on amplify or if that's like if you hit it full screen or something, but they showed a crushing blow off of that. I'd be surprised if it was an overhead. Like in
Yeah.
this meta, like what we've played, it'll probably be a mid.
Like 50-50s and and to teleport. Like,
And those are going to be abilities, I bet, like slottable sorts of things.
right.
Those are going to take slots, and if you want to have those, and they might be kind of like fun or even maybe a little bit gimmicky, but I wonder how that'll actually work out in real matches consistently. Especially with some of that other stuff he has. That's now we're in that limbo phase of like we don't know what's part of his core kit, we don't know what's an ability,
Yeah.
we don't even know what the variations are going to be like,
That's the
what's going to
Yeah,
be allowed
frustration.
for competitive,
For
you know,
sure,
things
especially
like
since it's
that.
very
So
up
it's
in
like
the air, just like you said.
so it's like
like,
thanks for the announcement.
Mhm.
I'm super excited, but I've got this weird anxiety because I still have no idea how the fuck he's going to play.
Mhm.
What I've seen, because I don't know what belongs to what.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
makes sense. His was I the only one that laughed out loud when I saw his fatality? Like,
Oh, it was great.
it was awesome. I loved it.
It was unexpected. Thought it was going to be kind of generic when I saw him like just slice open the belly, and I was like, oh, here we go. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
expecting something a little bit more, not basic, but more straightforward, like Cassie Cage's little pop in your spine and skull out by kicking you in the crotch, sort of like thing.
Did
But it
we?
was cool. It was unexpected. It made
Yeah.
me laugh.
I
It
as
was
soon as I
gruesome.
saw the hands coming out of the mouth, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I just thought it was hilarious.
It looks a lot. A lot of people commented on how much, especially in that pose and that fatality, how much that looks like the Enenra version of Smoke.
yeah,
Hmm.
Like just like the gear and stuff. Like it
because
seems really deliberate. Like
well, because they did it in like in if you remember Mortal Kombat Deception, the character was Noob Smoke, right? Where he had like one fighting style was Noob and one was Smoke.
but that was like Noob finding Smoke, right? Like
Yeah,
who had been decommissioned and kind of like he was like an ally. He wasn't like coming out from inside of him. Maybe
and
they fused somehow.
yeah,
But he
yeah.
had the shadows and stuff in 9.
Yeah, and then in 9, if you use his classic costume, I think, his classic MK3 costume, when you threw out your constructs, it actually had the same skin it was as Human Smoke did in that game.
Right.
So it would be interesting
It's kind of
if,
like a little nod to that.
yeah, it'd be interesting because I don't think there's been any talk of Smoke being in this game. It would be interesting if that was Enenra, and they're like a big part in the story mode as both of
Well,
them.
we know from the leak, right? The image leaks, and so we had already kind of gotten a glimpse at a version of Noob Saibot. It was not the same gear that we saw today,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we saw his customizable pieces, and one of those was his clone. So maybe he's one of many options. Like that's
I
something that
see.
you're going to be able to,
Yeah, you can make him
you
look
know,
like an Enra, make him look like Smoke, make him look like Liu Kang. Who knows?
right?
I'm actually I like the way that they're revealing the characters because they're not really revealing ones that were like, oh, really? Katana's in the game? Liu
Right.
Kang? Who would have guessed that? Like,
What?
Right. Yeah, I'm not showing the obvious ones.
yeah, they're showing us.
Well, and
here's
it's
the
like they
ones
already
that-
know. They've already basically told us without showing us any like official
Yeah.
like trailer or anything like that, because it would be like, what's even like the surprise? Is that your point? Because we already
Yeah.
assume they're going to be in. So
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's a good strategy. I like it. I like what they're doing. Troop in the chat says if you look closely, his shadow is classic Bihan Sub-Zero. It's a nice throwback. That's interesting. I did not look closely,
Not
But-
for bees.
but that's interesting. I wonder what role he'll play in the story in all this. Going back in time.
I think he. I wonder if he and Sub-Zero are going to have a part in the story. A lot of people were kind of theorizing that from the lack of Sub-Zero in the story trailer is that he just wasn't going to be involved until like later on, and
Hmm.
so it'd be some character they didn't want to touch on that's later in the story that hadn't been announced yet, like Noob or something like that.
Will you have
But-
like both Sub-Zeros playable? Like depending on the skin you choose, you could choose Bihan or Kuai Liang. You think? That's an
Wasn't
interesting.
he usually also like
I
a-
don't think they're going to change the person.
Hmm.
Sorry,
I don't.
would you-
Skins only change your outfit. Like your lines and stuff would have to change and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true. That would be kind of a
Your
big,
face would be different and all of that sort of stuff.
big ordeal.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of intros and stuff, I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love his voice in this game. It is like
Totally.
100% Noob. Like I think it's way better than it's ever been in any other game. I don't know.
He
how
sounds
many
like
games
Tony
it's
Todd, the guy that did the voice for Candyman. He was voice of Zoom in that season of Flash on the CW.
Okay.
Like, it sounds just like it to me. Everyone's saying it sounds like Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget, which
A little bit. It's very
It kinda
menacing,
does.
though.
It kind of does.
I bet they'll fix it a little bit, the same way they kind of fixed Baraka's voice. Remember how much he sounded like Reptile, like at the reveal event, and now his
Right.
voice sounds a little bit better. I bet they'll
Yeah.
tweak it a little bit.
More original,
Mhm.
that kind of thing.
But, like, speaking of the intro dialogue, as soon as I saw Sub-Zero, it's like, okay, Sub-Zero getting beat up in another trailer is like tradition now. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if they obviously set this up for an interaction, so if I hear a fucking cold pun come out of his mouth in like this very potentially dramatic moment, I'm gonna be really mad. I'm glad the intro was cool, and it wasn't like, "Cool down, brother."
What is he
Yeah.
like? Secretly Hulk Hogan?
Is he right?
The true
He's working on
identity
his he's working on his
of
American
Beyond.
accent. That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks all white people sound like.
Oh man. Oh wait, people simply.
What are you gonna do when Noob Saibot runs wild on you? Shit.
Oh man.
No, but the dialogue was cool,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I
very
like,
menacing. I like that.
and we got new stage. We saw the little like Cyber Initiative lab
yeah.
I
thing,
thought
which
that was a
looked like
reskin
either
of
like
the Red
Hydro
Sun
or
prison.
Cyber Sub-Zero.
Red
all-
Sun Prison.
Dude, that's kind of what it reminded me of
Yeah.
too. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a joke about him being crucified, like
Mhm.
for our sins or something. He's all stretched out on that thing.
Yeah.
That interactable in the left corner looks like Cyrax's saw.
I saw Mustard
True,
point that out
yeah.
actually. That it looked like a saw, and there was like a yellow robot on the floor or something, or some yellow.
Yeah, I had
machine.
to rewatch that because the first time I saw that, I was like, "Wait, what? Did you just pull out like a cyborg thing? Like, what the fuck?"
Well,
Yeah.
everyone's like, do they even exist? Like, are we gonna even have a Borg in the roster? And are they just gonna like retcon them out, or what? Are they just not even gonna acknowledge them if they're not gonna put one in the roster? And I think this is a really cool reassurance. I saw Ketchup say that he's going, like, all of his labbing and everything's gonna be done on that stage, so
Yeah, that makes sense.
so he can absorb everything, like all the Easter eggs and shit like that. Start to
Right.
notice
Right.
things that you think they kind of like threw in there.
Yeah, you wonder how much of that stuff we actually missed, right? Like that, that like just you're just playing over and over again, not paying attention to the background. You're paying attention to what's happening on the screen, and maybe there's some stuff that that we're missing. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, interesting though, nonetheless. I know that because the Lin Kuei, they were the ones that did the Cyber Initiative, weren't they? That's why
Yeah.
they got
Right.
Cyber Sub-Zero and Sector. And
The
Cyrax.
Grandmaster, the corrupt Lin Kuei, that Bihan, like Bihan's world of the Lin Kuei.
Yeah.
Kuai Liang is trying to restore it to an honorable, society, whatever, after undoing all of the damage that the Cyber Initiative had done.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it would be weird to not have any reference to the robots at all. It's hard because some of this is like explained in the comics, but I haven't followed the comics that much. So
The comics are canon. Was confirmed like last week or the week before
Oh,
by
really?
Sean Kittleson, who says
Oh,
they
wow.
absolutely are. There is some kind of inconsistencies between the comics and the games because there was no communication apparently.
oh, okay.
Like they just wouldn't divulge that information,
Right.
like what they're working on, like story wise. But for all intents and purposes, which means that the Goro that was DLC pre-order, it was like a Goro from like the beginning, like right after the events of like MK4 or something like
Yeah,
that.
because doesn't he get like his
Because he
arms
loses
ripped
his
off from
arms,
Kotal?
all
Yeah.
four of them. Yeah.
Can you imagine like a Goro with like 4 robot arms? That's terrifying.
Like
It'd be pretty nuts. I would love to see that though,
Mega
it'd be pretty
Jax.
cool.
but instead he's just a corpse now.
Womp womp.
Yeah,
Right.
that didn't age well.
I wonder how I wonder if they'll explain that in the story, or if it's just one of those things like, I don't know, it's just there. You know, like.
Did they kind of hint at it? Because did you notice? This might be like moving towards later, but during the Coldal review, unveiling, did you notice the name of one of the variations? It was like Goro Slayer or something like that. Like it had a reference to Goro.
Oh,
in it.
really? No, I didn't notice that. Good catch.
Yeah, so
I didn't know- I didn't catch
I don't
that
know
either.
if they did it because they were like, we're gonna use Goro's stage, or if it's kind of hinting that maybe Kotal was the one who,
Who slayed
wrecked
Goro?
Goro's shit. Yeah.
Well, he did. Yeah. Well, he did in the comics anyway.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
you-
Interesting.
He wrecked everyone's shit.
good old
Total
Kotal.
Khan's a badass.
He is a
He
badass. And transition. Kotal Khan was revealed this week.
Are we gonna skip over Shang Tsung? The other thing from today? We can talk about that later.
That was such a good transition. Jesus Christ.
Let's do it. Let's lean into transition. We'll talk about Shang Tsung later and the crypt and stuff.
Yeah, there's not a lot to talk about with it.
Our timeline's going to be so wonky. Whatever, MK11, it fits.
Right.
We need Chronica in this podcast.
Oh, snaps.
No, they clarified something about her today. She's not in control of the time. She can set things into motion. And things like that, but she's not like this all-powerful being. That's why she needs allies and all that sort of stuff. She needs to turn the tides a certain way, but like she can't make choices for people. She can just kind of like set up the situations.
I was stuck at work all day, so I didn't get to watch it yet, which is too bad, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So Kotal, what are your guys' first impressions of him?
You know,
Thundercat's hoe.
Yo, that cat move was fantastic.
Just like from the intro and stuff, like right away, just like, oh my gosh, like my pants are tightening. This is cool.
His headpiece, whatever it is, holy crap!
Dude, the feathers, they look so like majestic.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's like so brutal, and he looks so pretty.
And
like,
they made him tall, like a boss character, kind of.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
He totally caught me off guard when he turned into the jaguar. I've been calling it a cat just because that sounds funnier, but I guess it is a jaguar because that has some sort of reference to the Aztecs, which I don't know that history that great. What, did they like worship jaguars, or like I knew that they like at some point
the jaguar was definitely a very integral figure.
I mean, they've already had like they've got like these effigies and things like that, right? Like his hook swords are snakes, and his helmet is a bird or whatever. So they have like these animal totems or something like almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the morphology or whatever has always been a thing, but
right.
I mean, I'm sure they've got the technology to do it now. And if they had the technology to do it when Injustice 2 was probably really early in development, we probably would have had Beast Boy. So this is the excuse to kind of like develop that, and then they can reuse some of those same assets when he'll be in the next game. Right.
Yeah, there you go. That's a whole other can of worms, that one. I'll tell you what.
But he's got like moves with so he's got it like with the intro, and then he's got like the tackle move.
Right.
Yep.
Where you like choose your neck, and then the like little party bomb. Party crasher.
Party crasher, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're unsafe. The animation for how smooth he transitions from like a dude to a cat is insane. Like I had to watch it twice because like all of a sudden he was just like a cat and then bam, back again.
It looked really natural, right? It didn't look all shoddy at all.
I was expecting them to kind of butcher that, but they didn't. So, I mean, good job to them. And just goes with the theme of everything. The game just looks awesome, just amazing.
Yeah, no, he looks great. Like even though I usually don't like the very heavy grappler type of characters. He actually looks like I might want to try just messing around with him.
He's not even a grapple character. He's got one ability that could turn him into a grappler with that command grab, which looks like a high now. Like I wonder if that's going to be a consistent theme because we know that Gearus's command grab's also a high, but we don't know. I don't think for sure we don't know Kano's or something else somebody was talking about. Is Brock as a mid?
Yeah, I was using it a lot and
it's fucking gross.
People. That is super gross. I actually would definitely agree with it being a high because, like, if you're blocking at all,
no shame.
I mean, because
you can't tech it, right? So,
yeah, there were so many matches where I just did that like 4 times in a row, and then it just I don't know.
They're hard to deal with. Like, command grabs are very especially if you're still getting acclimated and you're not, comfortable in that sort of pressure. I feel like they're like one of the hardest things to deal with in a game is command grabs. Command grab characters.
Real quick in the chat. Appropriately enough, the Catman says the cat pounce better be a brutality, and I am totally on board with that. I would love to see him just like chew him up or something like that.
You know that his new little his paddle saw move is going to be brutality too. He's just going to cut you in the other direction than he did in MKX or something.
Yeah,
because he comes at you at the side he comes at you from underneath instead of overhead.
Right. I love that they brought brutalities back, man. That was such a cool way to end a match.
It really was.
And
they were like, I didn't get sick of any of them at all. I actually started, we can talk about this later, but like baiting people into blood balls so I could get that brutality over and over again. And it's like so classic like phantasmagoria or something. Like it almost looks cheesy, like in this old school horror fashion. I feel like.
Like, was it the Wizard of Gore or something like that? What is that old film? I don't even remember.
I don't know. I have no idea what
Hmm.
you're referring to, but it sounds interesting. So
Yeah.
A for effort.
Get some
Yeah,
culture dink.
Yeah.
I'm an uncultured dink. Sorry about
It
that.
was like one of the oldest, like, real gore horror films that really, like, kind of started to define the genre. I just can't remember the name. Could do a googly, but doesn't really matter in this
Where the Google?
conversation.
What did you guys think about his totems?
They look awesome. Like the effect looks awesome. The fact that you can stack them now looks awesome. And did you notice the effect they were having on him, like how he was glowing?
Yeah.
If you have one totem out, like his legs are glowing. You have two totems out, it goes up to his chest.
Mhm.
And if you have three out, then it goes over his head and stuff too. And all the colors of those represent the totems that are out. So even if the totems are off screen, you know what he has, and it looks bitchin'.
Definitely. It's I'm gonna miss the scrotum totem, honestly, just because that's very fun to say. But yeah, well, there's one. I think it was his damage boost or something. Yeah, it just looked like a big dick.
No, they said there's four totems. They only showed two on the stream. There's two that we haven't seen.
So
I think the defense
you just might get
totem
it.
is missing.
Interesting. I actually didn't know that part.
Yeah, they said that, but they're equipable abilities, so you can't like have all four. You're gonna have to choose.
Right.
Mix and match.
So they've probably paired them together, I wonder. Like you can have this set of two or this set of two, but you can't mix and match. I wonder.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, if you have to build, like, a whole totem variation and, like, ignore all the other things or whatnot. I don't know.
Could it be that strong? It's their way of like forcing you into a 2-slot or 3-slot ability or something.
I was so curious how they were going to do the ability thing, and I really like it. How they have 2 slots to 1 slot. I think that's genius. I would never have thought of that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And it definitely makes you consider, like, do you really want to... Like, when I was messing around with Scarlet, most of the time I was using 2 slots. What were the ones? I used the one where she
only
does
has the
the weird
1-2
Quan
slot.
Chi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I would pick the trance and then the like her down 2 where she would get the damage buff.
Right.
And those were each 1 slot, and then I kind of like I felt like, okay, well, what do I put for the other one? Probably should have used the ones that no, that one's her 2, the one that affects her blood bowl. I would probably have to go back and check, but I remember I ended up picking the parry, but I kind of felt like it was a dead slot most of the time. Or I just suck at parry.
I had a lot of fun with Perry.
Yeah, Hater
I
was
was
using
able to get it
parry.
off on some scorpions, and that was fun.
Parry. Could you parry the teleport if you, like, parried, started on one side?
Yeah,
and came
I
the
did it
other
on
side?
accident a couple times. I must have had like a buffering from holding down or something, and I
Mm.
ended up just it was an input error, but I ended up parrying him.
Hey,
So I'm
take
guessing
it.
you have to do it the opposite direction. So once he's moved sides, and so you're down because it's a down back motion.
Right.
So I have been holding a parry and been teleported on, and it didn't hit. So
All right. Let's. Is there anything more to cover on Kodal? Do we kind of go over all of his moves? And stuff?
Zoo command grab we talked about like a little bit. That
Right.
animation's badass.
The one where is that the one where he drinks your blood?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then like he gains more power every time he does it.
yeah.
How is that? How is that not a thing I've ever seen Kodal do? Like, I guess he's the blood god, so I mean, he
That
has
was
a
kind of the
variation.
Aztec thing, you know, blood sacrifices and
Okay.
bloodletting.
Well, that's like that's this version's. This is Mortal Kombat 11's version of the Sun Choke from MKX. So
Yeah.
instead of like the big sunbeam or whatever, he's drinking blood out of your belly,
God, him
and he's getting
Scarlet
that
must get
charge,
along
which
great.
gives him a damage buff.
Interesting. I like that you can tell how many buffs you have by how bright his tattoos are.
Mm-hmm.
God, that guy has pecs. Jesus Christ! I'm staring at
Yeah.
this freaking render of him
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
pretty,
I'm like,
he's pretty swole.
he's
They
like-
made him super ripped.
He's like a solid C cut, man. Holy fuck. Yeah, Kotal Khan.
Oh, they
It's all
changed his
that
disc.
Aztec cocoa.
Oh
They
yeah.
changed his disc, so it was a mid in MKX, but it was also really slow. and now it seems to be really fast, but they made it a high.
That's kind of stupid. Well, I don't know.
The meter burn looks
pissed me
cool.
off,
The
but-
meter burn's like a full screen like beam, like a Starfire trait or something, like almost. It's gonna have a hitbox probably across the whole screen.
No, I
That'd be
don't-
cool for baiting things out with like, because it's got the same starting animation as the projectile, and then you amplify it, and then that thing comes out and blasts you.
Quick question. I don't know if I just missed this, but when I was watching the stream, they explained that if he was standing in the sunbeam, he got health back or whatever. But they didn't
Right.
mention if the opponent stands
Yeah.
in the sunbeam, if it gets hurt. Was that just...
So that was not just you, because that's how it worked at MKX. So
Right.
that's how we'd expect it to work. They didn't say either way. They just said that he gets health back. They didn't say anything about the opponent in it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it would make sense. I don't think they mentioned whether you could put it in different spots, because that would have totally just led into them talking about what it did to the opponent.
Yeah.
But interesting possible change. I don't know. Who knows anymore? About
Yeah.
anything.
No, but he
And-
looks cool.
Yeah, I like his design. I like his voice.
I don't like his bear helmet. I don't like that third loadout that they showed. I thought he looked really like kind of like ugh, like audibly kind of ugh.
He looks like a custom character in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh,
That was the first thing I thought.
Oh man. So apparently it's would you say it's unbearable?
yeah, I probably would.
Oh shit! Just brought that to a whole new level. I love it.
Yeah.
Who else but Shiro?
Please bear with my headgear. Oh. Oh no. Codal's
All right, so Kotal Khan.
Yeah.
So now that I like very rudely jumped over our
Shang Tsung.
our main villain, let's talk about him. I was not expecting to see him this weekend, but yeah, they did say they were gonna. Actually, one thing that threw me off is they said he was DLC because he was leaked to be in the main roster earlier on.
Yeah.
The psychology of leaks and how people just use real, already confirmed information and tack stuff on the end to make it sound just as believable. or
Right.
whatever.
What if it was going to be one of those things where he was going to be in the main roster, and then with the league, it's like, well, guess he's
Yeah.
gonna be
No.
DLC.
That's what I was saying. Like they should, they should have had a DLC character or backwards that like, that this character will be DLC. But if the roster gets leaked, then all of a sudden he's in the roster, and surprise, and then everyone questions the leak, right? So
Yeah.
this seemed to be. Kind of,
I think the biggest surprise was that the reveal wasn't a guest character. I think almost everybody was expecting it to be Spawn or some sort of other sort of guest character, the same way they kind of like announced Jason Voorhees like really early for MKX.
right.
You know, try to feed those pre-orders and stuff. But no, it's Shang Tsung, so that's cool.
Yeah, surprise. There was
Yeah, he
rumors
looks
that he
really
was
dope.
that he was unlockable in the crypt.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that they show him as like the intro to the crypt, so that's kind of cool.
No, he's more than that.
gonna be
Like
the
he's
guide.
your companion, he's your
Yeah,
guide,
he's
he's your
like your
host
buddy.
while you're in there. While you're walking around, he's there like shooting the shit with you.
It's weird
Guiding
seeing
you
him as
around.
Probably
like
laughing at you at the jump scares.
He seems too chummy for Shang Tsung. That was the first thing. Like just like his facial expressions, it's like Yoda or something almost. He seems like so zen. It's like this isn't the Shang Tsung I know, but
Yeah, the Shang
looks
Tsung I
cool.
know is like evil and deceptive, and always talking like this.
and it's our OG Shang Tsung from the Mortal Kombat film from 1995.
yeah, Shiro. Could you pronounce his name so I don't fuck it up?
Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Perfect,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm so happy that he's back. So
I
happy.
No, it's cool.
It's hard to. I mean, it's actually a turn I didn't expect them to take. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I just expected some generic dude or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, wow, they hit it out of the park on that one. Definitely, it's awesome. I didn't. See
I
the
wonder
gameplay,
what
I
the
don't
story is going to be with him, because he does seem not like. I mean, if he's back from the dead, he has no allies, right? Like, I wonder if he's just like fuck it, like the rebirth made him like it gave him peace or some shit.
Could be, right?
turns out to be, like,
He's
a good guy.
finally he's just like,
That would
I
be
just don't
weird,
give a fuck
though.
anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like-
I'm interested to see. So part of that. So I have a couple other thoughts about that trailer. The first thing, everyone that's been saying that Rain is in the game. Everyone's so worried about Rain not being in the game, but super confused because they believe that we've got artwork of him in the game on the Conquest menu option.
Mm-hmm.
Looks to be the same guy that was walking up the stairs and into that room talking to Shang Tsung, who is just like a generic dude that's like a representation of like the player.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to butcher his name, Danish Syed, I think, who's a developer. He confirmed on Twitter earlier saying just that. He's like, oh, I can finally say it out loud. That is not Rain. That is not Rain in the artwork.
Do you think he is like
somebody else?
Because he kind of has like the same type of clothing, so he probably is just another Edenian, probably.
Maybe.
He's
just a traveler.
Edenian,
Shang Tsung called him a traveler. Greetings, traveler.
Greetings, traveler. You know, I've been bombarded with questions about, are you going to main Shang Tsung because he's the only sorcerer in the game? And Quan Chi's dead? Huh? Are you going to main Shang Tsung? I just want it to be known that I hate Shang Tsung as a character. He's super cheesy, and he's consistently getting his ass beat. In every single game, Shang Tsung gets fucked over somehow. You know, MK1, he gets fucked over.
That's because he's a dick. He deserves to get fucked over.
Totally. And he just, like you mentioned earlier, he's always talking like this. Oh, well.
It's like the plotting Mr. Burns villain, like being just so overt. Like, why would anyone fucking trust you, dude? Like, the way you talk, the way you look, like...
Shang Tsung.
There's a lot of warning signs here. I don't know why people are agreeing to join your tournament and stuff. Like, you don't seem like a guy that's going to keep a deal.
Like in MK9, Shao Kahn literally ends his life in a sec. He's like, oh, you actually got some cool powers there. Yoink.
Right.
That's the end of him. Seriously. So stop asking me if... Okay, I shouldn't say that because now everyone's going to ask me, but whatever. Stop asking me if I'm going to play Shang Tsung because I'm not. I dislike the character. End of story.
End of story.
But
man,
I do have respect for him as a piece of the Mortal Kombat lore and story. You know,
I mean, like he is very iconic.
Oh, totally.
With him being DLC, and you saw his little intro with that's how we all kind of knew, right? The green swirls, like the souls and stuff. Like, oh shit, here it is. Yep, okay, and then it's old Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung. I like that. That was a good
now
touch.
that he's DLC, so he's probably not going to have a part of the story. Maybe. Shao Kahn's pre-order bonus, which is technically DLC, and he looks to have a really big part of the story.
True.
Yeah,
but
true.
So, assuming that Shang Tsung is not in the story, like a combat pack DLC, what the fuck was all the green swirly souls and stuff in the story trailer? Those monks that were hanging, and it looked like a lot of people speculating Shang Tsung because of the green kind of soul-like effect, but other people like, maybe it's a soul NATO for, some reason. Or I mean, I wonder what that scene is now. I kind of had my my bet was on Shang Tsung, but I don't think that is now. So
the only other possibility I could think of is it being Ermac, but there hasn't been.
I think we would have heard something about him. Yeah,
there hasn't been any talk of Ermac leading up to now. I think they might save him as a DLC. I don't know. It's hard to say. He has a small but loud fan base. I've noticed. Yes, sorry, Ermac mains.
So that room looks to be like probably like in the same building where Kung Lao and Liu Kang were when Scorpion confronts them with like the spear, and they both look at it like, oh, I've never seen someone throw a spear at someone before. And in one of the stages, they both look just kind of like, what?
This is a completely new
I've never been in a physical confrontation. What am I going to do?
We've been trading all our lives, but spears!
Right.
That throws a wrench at everything.
A kunai on a rope. When Jackie and Kodo were fighting, I'm pretty sure it was from that footage, they showed a new stage, and it looks to be that same building. Like, it's all, like, in tatters, and there's monks hanging from the ceiling, or there's dead monks on the floor and stuff like that. Like, that's got to be the same room. Or the same building. We'll have a stage.
I mean, I can only hope for a stage with a soul NATO in it, because I feel like some of these stages need a little bit more color.
Dude. Speaking of stages, the Goro's Lair stage, the corners of that stage, because there's like more caverns, more caves that you can see down. You obviously can't go down, but there's like so much
Yeah.
depth to those. I was like tripping out on how much detail is in that stage,
I thought it was
especially in
gonna
the
go on
corners where the
forever.
stage gets all really orange because of all the candlelight.
I am glad they got to show like some of the other parts of that, because I didn't care for when the game was announced. I didn't really care for that Special Forces desert stage. When we played the stress test. I still didn't really care for it.
Yep. I
Shang
don't
Tsung's
care for that either.
island still looks pretty sick.
Yeah. It's got like the stormy sort of desaturated feel, the dark. So people like when Dink and I were talking, he was talking about how he liked the Special Forces one because it's brighter.
Yeah.
And I hear that from a lot of people. But I definitely prefer the kind of more gloomy, stormy, gothic sort of.
The lighting was
aesthetic.
fine. It was just so brown.
It's too
brown.
deserty. It just reminds me of like kind of like where I live anyway. And it just reminds me like Earthrealm's just not interesting to me, and Earthrealmers in general aren't very interesting to me. I like the fantastical elements. And that stage just totally takes me out of that.
Yeah. I did like the stage. Oh, what did it do?
No, sorry. Go ahead, Shiro.
That's cool. I'll say I did like the stage that they showed in the Noob Saibot trailer. That one looked kind of neat.
The Cyber Initiative one?
That one, the big
the
cathedral
first one.
one.
Yeah, the cathedral one. The Cyber Initiative one, I do like that it's a little brighter and has a bit more color, even though it's
It's
all
like a blue stage.
blue.
We don't have many blue stages. Everything's all warm and orange and...
Yeah. I think my only criticism is that it just kind of looks like they took Red Sun Prison and just reskinned it. That's my only criticism. Just like, hey, wait a minute.
Let's be real here. The only thing they have in common is a dude in the middle. Like...
And technology things lying around.
Okay.
Gotta give him one, hater.
No, but that Netherrealm Palace stage that Sub-Zero and Noob Saibot were fighting on, they'd shown that before. That's the one that's got Shinnok's head mounted in the background.
Oh, okay.
And that left corner has his Bone Shaper scythe as like an interactable, like the same way we have Cyrax's little saw thing as an interactable on the other stage. I think that's
I
a cool way of incorporating characters that probably aren't going to be in the game.
That's a really nice touch, actually, that they added that in there, having kind of a nod to MKX without.
Oh, it looks like it's got a bunch of skulls in the background too. Sorry.
Let me pull it. I can pull it up and see.
That's the scene. So that's the room. So from the story trailer, when Jade and Cabal are walking up together, that's the room they're walking into. So. Like walking up to that head.
With all the candles and stuff.
Yeah.
They got who are the statues? Are they anybody in particular, or are they just random people?
What statues?
In the cathedral stage.
Oh, I don't know.
It looks like, is that Shinnok's head that was just in the middle of it, just hanging, chilling there?
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. Some people think it's a power core. Something like that.
I think it's just random monks, the same as it was in MK9.
Yeah. I do hope that there's more stages, because seeing some of the footage from the story, like the sceneries look nice.
There's like 17 stage slots on there or something like that. We only had 2, but was there 17 blank spaces? Or not blank, but total.
A lot of stages in the final game. Like,
I think there's going to be a lot. And again, back to the Kotal Jackie thing. We haven't talked about Jackie yet. But they seem to be fighting in like a Kotal Khan sort of arena. And then another stage that was like the underbelly of that. Like they were underneath that stage there was before. I don't think there's transitions. I wonder if those are 2 separate stages, or if it's like how we used to be able to change the sky to red or something on a couple stages.
Could
like
you imagine if there's stage transitions that like they just haven't shown?
We would have seen it. We would have seen it already.
Yeah,
there's no way they would.
That would be insane, man.
What do you think would trigger it in a Mortal Kombat game? So it's a back 3.
Well, in
Injustice.
In MK3, it was uppercuts, wasn't it? So if you hit like a crushing, like say if you hit like a crushing blow, like down 2, it also would lead to a transition, something like that. You know, that'd be kind of neat. But yeah, like you said, I'm sure they'd probably show that off before. But again, I don't know. They've slowly been releasing the stages, so if they did that, they'd be showing off 2 stages. But
oh yeah, they've got that arena stage too.
like, doesn't the arena also lead like to Goro's lair below it. Am I wrong in thinking that, or is that
That's from Shang Tsung's temple, isn't
from
it?
Shang
Isn't he
Tsung's
below?
temple? Yeah, yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
there's a
Shang
But
Tsung.
yeah,
chariot that rides around. That's dope.
that would still work though. But I don't know. Just just something cool to think about. I wonder if we'll get more stages in the beta.
I
hope
really hope
so.
so.
With the increase, we get 2 more characters. Hopefully, they'll toss one more in. People are hoping that they toss at least one more in there. Like, why the fuck isn't Sub-Zero in here? Like,
Yeah,
Sub-Zero
totally.
and Raiden, like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
Maybe they're just not complete, like, in this build.
Go
Like,
with
they were
it.
fine. They took a lot more liberties with that, and there was a lot, like, during the reveal build, because it was, months ago, but now that they're this close to release, I don't think they'd be, their quality control's probably a little bit higher. Like,
I
them
don't know.
choosing to put Scarlet, Baraka, and Scorpion in the stress test, they're probably 3 of the most complete characters that they have done up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering how differently they play. I think
They
it
would-
was good to give like the kind of space control that Scarlet has and the zoning that she has versus just brawler raw damage Baraka versus Scorpion who can counter zone and all that stuff. So it's like a
Yeah.
real specific pairings, right? The Scorpion Scarlet matchup is not played the same way as the Scarlet Baraka matchup.
Like a weird rock,
Yeah,
paper, scissors.
definitely. Yeah, totally. I don't know. It's really weird that because one of the first things that I thought of when I thought of like the original, like the very first trailer for Mortal Kombat 11, I really thought that Sub-Zero was going to be the one kicking ass because he always gets his ass beat in every trailer.
But
And it's
no.
like this time they're going to do him right, and then they're just like, oh, he doesn't exist right now. Hold on, let me
Right.
show you Raiden and Scorpion, and they really haven't shown much of him since. So it's I don't know. I don't know where that thought came from. It's something he said triggered it, and then now I forget what it was, and I forget where I was going with it. But I'm old and I ramble sometimes, so I'll just let you have that.
I get that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, should we talk about Jackie before we start talking about the stress test?
Yes,
Talk about Jackie.
because we got a lot to talk about with the stress test. So let's
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about
Many thoughts.
Jackie first. What were your guys' impressions from the stream?
I mean, she looks pretty cool. I like that. They decided to kind of make her a little bit more stylistic. They do say Muay Thai, but it looks a little bit more like regular kickboxing. But I mean, whatevs. It still looks pretty cool.
Yeah, the Muay Thai thing really seemed to only come into play during her clinch move, but
Yeah, kind
Her
of.
little
Like her.
command grab.
yeah.
Well, because her arms, like in Muay Thai, like their arms are more sticking out. Hers were very like closed in.
Yeah,
Right, and she's like
the
traditionally
points.
like an MKX. She was pretty stubby, right? So they wanted her
Yeah.
to probably remain that way as part of like the way that she plays.
Yeah. So, because Muay Thai, it is like very mid range. They got the wide axe kicks, and the arms are out so that they can deflect blows a lot more effectively. But
Blows.
hey, this is a Christian stream.
What?
Yeah, all of our
What?
streams are Christian streams.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I gotta go, guys.
Oh man, yeah. I thought she looked like Jackie as a character has never really interested me. I don't really. None of the combat kids really did, but her play style, holy crap! It looked like a lot of fun. I like the stuff that she could throw on the ground. You get like the damage over time.
The effects look cool, like the
Yeah,
particle
totally.
effect. Like that blue plasma fire looks so awesome.
Yeah,
Like
it's so clean. It's awesome. So I don't know. I'm excited to actually get my hands on her. I never thought I would say that, but yeah. And her gear,
She's got that force field thing.
yeah. What the blue panel thing that she?
her little
brings up?
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She shows off in her fatal blow, and it was in that fatality that we saw. So we've seen both of her fatalities now. Both
Mhm.
were cool. Like I am not a big Jackie fan, and I was just ready to be like, whatever. Like necessary evil. Like I don't think that it's a wasted slot because I don't really believe in that philosophy. Like anyway, I know that a lot of people are gonna like her and play her, but I really liked like what I saw. I don't think I'll play her, but she looks cool. She doesn't look
Yeah.
like the MKX version of Jackie.
Yeah, definitely not.
Dizzy was on our design team too, so I expect there to be some weird dirt like how they paid, they're kind of paid tribute to the stanky leg, the way that you had to input that move or whatever to enhance one of her. She has like a command normal or something like that.
Yeah.
That uppercut thing. He said if you hit it like the same timing that you would do like a stanky leg, like I think stuff like that is so cool. That kind of detail. And I know Dizzy was part of the team that worked on Enchantress and stuff, and that was, those
That's
sorts of
where
like
she got
mind
the wall
games
from.
stuff. I just think those sorts of like
Yeah.
mind games, right? Like I bet you, and just the way that she can amplify a tech throw,
Oh yeah.
right, and then put you into that
Yo, that
50-50
shit is-
situation.
Yeah, that shit is intense. The 50-50
Dude,
situation that we did get
That's
to see.
crazy.
Really.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's
shit.
gonna be crazy.
Fuck.
Like the mind games there. I don't know if that's going to be reactable, whether she
Accidentally
goes for the
unplugged
leg
my
or whether she goes
headphones.
for the arm. And one of those, I think the
Oh,
leg
no.
crushing blows if you would hit the other one.
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know. That is like something that I never ever thought would actually be a thing. Was like,
So it's like, are you just going to always tech the low to try to avoid the crushing blow, and then she's just going to kill you with the arm one? And then the one time that you fucking go for the arm one, she's going to get the crushing blow on the leg. It's going to be so maddening. But you think, how often do you find yourself like in a tech situation? That depends on the player and stuff like that. Sometimes I won't see a tech throw for several matches, and then I've got one match with like 10 of them or something.
right. Well, some people like I don't know. It's super easy to see when they go for throws because like, especially in this game because you're always playing at kind of a range, so they'll just like walk up to you and you're like, I see what you're doing, uppercut, combo. But I mean, when you're in the corner, like corner pressure and stuff, I found that the throws were a lot more effective with Baraka being a rushdown character, a little bit more staggers, and then that's with Scorpion's cancel variation too, because you have the three-way
Misery
mix,
Blade.
Yeah, you have the three-way mix. So I don't know, because I mean, it might be even scarier with Jackie because she's kind of stubby and always kind of been kind of stubby. So
Well, she has those equipable abilities, right? Like they gave her like Cheetah's leap. Like what the fuck?
yeah,
Like, oh my gosh,
that
it's
was
gonna
weird.
be. I'm gonna be begging to play Scorpion. Like whenever I see like a Jackie or something. Like give me the teleport all day. I don't want to be dealing with this shit.
Yes. Submit to the teleport.
Ugh, no. I was being hyperbolic. Fuck your teleport.
Teleport characters, they're too funny.
Yeah.
Scarlet though, hater.
Hers doesn't attack or track.
Make sure to use Scarlet's. Yeah, make sure to
Well, I
use
guess it
Scarlet's
does track.
teleport.
Yeah. What else can she do? I kind of forgot a lot of the things that she does. Or,
She had the rocket moves. Seemed like she could direct
right.
like on amplify and things like that. Like
Oh
the
yeah, she could
45
shoot like a
ring
low one,
up and
high
down.
one, amplify and shoot a mid. I think.
So I want to talk about her leg things that she has going on, like because obviously
They said
it's
they
kind
gave
of,
her leg augments.
yeah, because obviously it's like a nod to her father having the robotic arms, and although she doesn't have robotic legs, they're like augments, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's
They
like an
were
exoskeleton or something.
they really wanted to like drive that point home because somebody tried to call them robotics or something. He's like, no, they're not. They're like augmented. They're like enhanced by electronics.
Which is funny because like in the Mortal Kombat movie, that's what happened to Jax's arms.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
like enhanced and not like actually like replaced, but like in the story,
It was like a shell, right? And then he took them off at the end. It's like, I got to use my real arms
I
to be a
watched
real man.
I watched that movie the other day actually.
It turns out my real arms were the friends I made along the way.
All right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I watched that movie on Monday.
Why?
I don't know.
Were you really like hating yourself or something?
Just so you know, it's still bad.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrible. I have it on Blu-ray, and yeah,
Why?
I'll watch it because
However-
it came in a 4-pack. That's why. Okay.
I remember
Yeah, I like
why.
the story.
I remember why I enjoyed it to begin with, is because there's so many characters. Because I watched it with my son. Because you know, he's like, oh, I didn't know there's a Mortal Kombat movie. So I showed him, and like the whole time, like this movie is
took one
so
for the
bad.
team.
This movie is so bad. And he's like, oh, a Cyrax. oh, I know that. Oh, hey, Tim. And I'm like, this movie is so bad. Like,
Mhm.
he was just excited to see the
Super
characters.
Monkey Ball reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like he was excited when they found out who Jade was, and yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember like that's why like I have fond memories of it as a kid, but I may have ruined it for myself watching it as a grown up.
Whatever do you mean?
Yeah, yeah. And then I watched the Mortal Kombat YouTube series they did, and like I wish they made that into a movie. Man, that was really good. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm getting away from the Jackie point. I just that was a thought that come into my head, so I'd talk about it. But
Nah, it's cool. I mean, like the Mortal Kombat cinema universe. Yeah, the YouTube series was pretty good, and I still say that the first Mortal Kombat movie is probably one of, at least when it comes to fighting game movies, that one is the best one.
yeah,
In regards to video game based movies in general, I would probably rank it up there, probably somewhere in the top 3.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
because most of them are bad. It's not a great movie. It's a worthy effort.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh yeah, no.
for the time that it was made and what the resources were and what Mortal Kombat was as a franchise back then, you know, it's almost like kind of like nostalgic and stuff at the same time. I think people are just happy that it's not as bad as the ones that came after it or something.
Yeah.
So in contrast, it's good. It's worth watching, and it is, but it's not like it's by no means just like mind blowing or badass. In my
I still
opinion.
think.
yeah, I agree.
I still think today Goro still looks pretty good. I mean, his face is a bit, but
Yeah, it's all animatronic.
yeah,
when
but
you look back
overall,
at
I thought
times,
it was
guess
alright.
It's like, yeah, it was okay for
But
the
that
times.
reptile, though.
Shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Just real quick while we're on this topic, because we shouldn't really be on this topic, but we are. There apparently is a transcript for a new Mortal Kombat movie.
I did hear about one being
I
finished.
believe it's written by the same guy that wrote the Mortal Kombat X story mode and Mortal Kombat 11 story mode.
All right.
So
Sean
that,
Kittleson.
yeah, it has me interested. I don't know if I'm on board yet because I have PTSD from the last two. But, you know, I mean, if that's the case, as long as they, I mean, now they're with Warner Brothers. So, I mean, they could have some decent funding. There's a possibility it could be one of the better video game movies of all time if done right.
Yeah.
But there,
Yeah, it should be like a series or a mini series or something. You know how hard it's going to be, like in a world that vast, to develop even like 7 characters, and then it's going to feel underwhelming, right? Or like the characters that you want are barely going to have cameos or not even be in. I think that's the problem. Like as opposed to like a Spawn movie, which is just Spawn. Obviously, he's going to be in it. He's going to be the driving force of it.
Yeah.
They're going to have to choose somebody to be that for a Mortal Kombat universe movie. And then the story centers around them, like they did with Liu Kang or whatever, and the first one and stuff like that. But I mean, that's how a lot of those movies I feel like suffers, that they threw in all these characters, and they just don't have the time in the time limit of a movie, what needs to be edited down to like develop all these characters.
Well, that was the thing that I noticed with the last with the Mortal Kombat Annihilation or whatever. Is it was a blatant effort to just throw as many characters into the movie as it could.
Yeah, that's how I felt like that last X-Men movie, X-Men Apocalypse or whatever. Like all those characters that they didn't fucking do anything with. They were just like there, like okay, that's cool, I guess.
We'll just use Quicksilver.
Like nothing
as a
happened.
plot
They
device.
didn't even try to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that movie was not very good.
But it's the same sort of like problem, right? Whereas if you had like a mini series, so see, like if it was even just like how they do Stephen King novels, like over the course of a week, right? Show like an hour a night, and all together it's like 5 hours or something. But it gives everything to like kind of like develop and whatever, like a season of a TV show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess so. Okay, so we talked about Jackie. Is there anything else we need to talk about before we move on to our? I think it's our final topic, right? The stress test.
I think beta. Cool, Jackie. Beta characters.
Beta. Oh, right, beta characters. Yes.
And
So-
yeah, okay.
They added 2 more for the beta. Jade and Cabal. I'm interested as to why they chose those 2. I mean, Jade from her trailer looks like she really commands the neutral and kind of crappy up close. So I'm interested to see how she plays. Cabal, I'm not really sure why. Maybe because he was like super top tier in MK9, so they want to be like, you're expecting that, but
Yeah.
try him out, you know?
Cabal was the first combat cast, and Jade was the second one, which would lead me to believe that they were complete enough to show on those, and so they're probably the same rationale these other ones kind of ended up in. Like they're just like kind of like the most complete of what they have at this point would be my first guess, but I think they'll fit. Like we established a little meta right over the weekend as everyone's like learning, and everyone knows the little trifecta. Baraka's now know how to fight Scarlet, and Scarlet knows how to fight Scorpion, and Scorpion knows how to fight Baraka, and now we're gonna throw in 2 more wild cards, like and see like what they do. Right? We already talked about how distinct those 3 are. And we'll see what these 2 add to that, like how they're going to play and how different or the same they'll be.
Yeah, that's true, because Cabal did look like he was kind of a setup character a little bit with some of his moves that he had. And we really didn't have that in the stress test.
I think Jade and Scarlet are going to be contesting for a lot of the same space.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's going to be I don't know. I wonder what that matchup's going to be, whose favor it's going to be in, or who's going to end up kind of like winning in that, because I feel like they want to kind of live in that same area.
This is very true.
Yeah.
But Scarlet's got a teleport.
True. But Jade can run full screen.
Oh, yes.
If both of those equipable abilities.
Yeah, so that's interesting. An interesting battle.
Well, Jade also has the teleport kick, her shadow kick by default.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Bueno.
That's a counter zoning tool.
It doesn't have armor, though, does it? I can't remember.
I don't think it has armor.
That would be stupid.
And then she's got the projectile immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's going to be interesting to discover what's not considered a projectile. You know how there's always like 1 or 2 like really dumb fucking things that absolutely should be considered a projectile, but
like,
never
Will
are.
the blood tentacle be a projectile?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Good question. Yeah, and same with the.
Or is it considered a physical attack?
Mm-hmm.
What's the one that Scarlet has where she like, I think she gives up the tentacle for it, where it turns into like.
That's the dot buff, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Where she like picks you up from the ground and.
Oh wait! Oh the.
Oh no! You're thinking Blood Boil.
That's the that, or wasn't that the armor or something like that?
No, there's
so
one
she's
where.
Got Blood Boil where she kind of like it.
Yeah.
You can't equip it with like so you're like choosing between Cell Siphon, Retribution, or Blood Boil.
Retribution.
And they all kind of do.
Of, yeah.
Retribution's the one where they puke and restand.
Yeah.
They like throw up all over themselves.
But like, like she. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see whether that's a projectile or not, since she's just. I don't know.
Right.
All of a sudden, you're hit with something, right?
Yeah.
Dude, she's so cool. I love her. It's so funny how different. I mean, different strokes for different folks, right? Like, I'm in love with this character, and I hear people are like, she's a little too dramatic for me, or like, man, her voice, or man, why is she
like
always
stabbing herself?
Psylocke's like, why she always got to be talking about blood? Like, no matter what, like after she throws me, or after a round or whatever, it's like, it's kind of, but I love it. Like when she's like,
that's her shtick.
Like when she's talking shit, you know, the characters will talk after they do certain moves or whatever, and she's always just like, so much blood, like really excited.
Yeah.
I think she's
got
that.
Will you be playing Scarlet because she says her power rivals that of Quan Chi.
Right.
Fuck you, Shiro.
Yeah.
Hey, Scorpion's the one that started that conversation.
Yeah.
She was just being polite and responding. Did you ever come across that interaction that Scarlet and Scorpion had?
I did.
Yeah.
Many times. And every time I shook my head and I'm like, oh, fuck.
No, not the Quan Chi one. The one where Scarlet starts and she's like, something about the Shirai Ryu and how much blood they've spilled or whatever. He's like, it was for my family and my clan.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, you misunderstand. I'm impressed.
I'm impressed. Her voice actor is, without a doubt, I think the best that I've heard so far in the game.
Awesome.
Like, the accent is great. You know,
it fits her.
Dialogue is great. It
fits her face, right? It fits. I believe that voice is coming out of that face.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the Cassie dilemma we had last time we talked, right? The voice, even what your kind of like small little gripes maybe, it doesn't quite fit like the way that she looks visually.
Not
and
the
Scarlet's the opposite of that.
Yeah, I love it. So far, I'm the most impressed by her.
Yeah.
Did you like playing her? She was your least favorite.
She was my least favorite. I'm not gonna lie. Okay? So let's get into the stress test stuff. So now we're kind of
Yeah, let's start with Dink's experience. You played all 3, and you were making videos and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I played all 3, making videos. I spent 1 day with each character just so I can kind of. I will admit, at the end of the day, I always went back to Baraka, but for the majority of the day, I spent with these 3 characters. And yeah, Scarlet was the one I liked the least because she didn't feel like she had much depth to me. Mind you, again, this is... Don't blow me up in the chat. This is 3 days of figuring shit out. But she just felt like I was using the same strings to punish. I was using the same types of zoning. It took me like maybe half an hour to come up with a good game plan for her.
Right, so she's not a combo character like traditionally.
No, definitely
right,
not.
So we know that like Baraka could launch if he had gutted, like Scorpion obviously could spend the bar on spear and or teleport and things like that, and that's not how Scarlet worked. Like, so you were kind of the same things for punishing, and you could spend the bar for damage at the very end, but you didn't need it to launch or convert. She uses her meter for other sorts of things, so it is kind of like a different play style, right?
Yeah, and like her versus Baraka was piss easy most of the time. You just zone them out, especially if you have like it's the slow ball. I mean, it's even easier.
In between the ball, like, and the tentacle, like how you can frame trap them. It's like some Starfire shit, right? Like with the meter burn orb and the Stardust and her traits and all of that sort of stuff. Scarlet can do similar sorts of things. Like, that's the only thing I would compare between the 2 characters, and I don't think that Scarlet is necessarily a zoner. I think that she's got like zoning tools,
space control.
But she's got a lot of micromanaging you need to do, and that's what I enjoyed the least about her. Like when you're in those zoning situations, like I feel like I was on hyperdrive, like trying to micromanage, what was going to hit or what was going to get blocked and be ready to do a blood tentacle or something. And I'm going to fuck up. And I'm like fucking up my inputs, right? I'm like doing neutral jumps. I was like, there's not even an up input in any of these. I'm like, what is my left thumb doing? Why am I just jumping up in the air?
It was interesting because like against a good player that knew what to do against zoning, it was difficult to come up with a game plan against like say Scorpion who had a teleport. Because like he's waiting for you to do something. I could do the low blood thing, which actually, if he tried to teleport on reaction, whiffed for him most of the time, and then I could punish him.
Oh, because you low profiled it?
Yeah, because you low profile it. Or I could do the blood ball if I think he's not going to teleport. Or I could do the straight one, which doesn't really guarantee much. Or I could do the blood tentacle if he's blocking low. So it's like every projectile kind of was a read on my end, which I really enjoyed because it doesn't make for mindless zoning most of the time. Against Baraka, it was kind of like, no, just do this into this into this. Yay, this is great.
See, and I think Scarlet has a lot of conditioning that she needs to do, like in her own way as well. Like I was reading somebody say it was euphemism in the Scarlet Discord talking about using Retribution or Blood Boil. I think he was talking about Retribution specifically for people that like to duck the blood ball. So it's a high, so you can duck underneath it, and then you're throwing out Retributions because they're not blocking because they're trying to, duck the blood ball, things like that. Like,
right.
But it's going to take noticing like your opponent's habits, because some people, obviously, we played a lot of people this last weekend, and most of them didn't even give a fuck, right? Like, I don't even think that a lot of the guys that I played, it must have been their first fighting game or something. They just kind of like jumped onto it and just didn't know how to deal with like anything.
Oh yeah, I got a few of those. And the moment you pull off one fatality, they leave.
Totally. I want to see the fatalities, man. Like, what?
They're the ones they fatality and then leave.
Oh,
but like every time a Baraka would start blade sparking, like, no, I can beat you, and I don't like to play this. I would much rather just try to keep you out. Just try to approach me, and I'll go easy on the zoning. I don't want you to get all fucking salty and leave. Or invite me to a group to talk shit or something. I'll lay off the zoning, but don't force my hand. You start throwing blade sparks, it's going to be my only fucking option.
Yeah, I played this one guy who I beat 8 matches in a row, and then he beat me once, teabagged the shit out of me, fatality, and left. And I was like, what the fuck was that? Like,
oh my god, assault.
Yeah.
It's like when you're like, oh, that was a good set. So you send out a message, GG's, man. They're like, fuck you, spammy bitch.
Yeah,
like, we just played like 30 games. What are you talking about? I thought we were having a good time.
Usually you get
kill yourself.
Kill. Yeah, that's a classic comment. Kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you just send him a message back and like, fucking pussy, kill me yourself.
Yeah.
Come yourself.
Yeah,
Come on.
kill
Don't
me
make me
yourself.
do it.
Jesus.
Okay, so
You get over
okay.
here. You kill me.
So,
tell me about your experience with Scorpion.
Scorpion, at least in this build, seems a little strong for me, kind of. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think,
He used to have
again,
a lot of tools.
it might have just been the people I was playing, but I was getting away with a lot of 50-50s from the blade, the Misery Blade. And it seemed
Everyone
like,
wants to hit buttons, right? So they're always doing something. So, and I think that's a really strong tool against that.
yeah,
The
totally.
mashy.
Yeah, and it worked really well. It did. As soon as I found a good kind of strategy and like a good it hurt my hands though, like I was like I don't know, I don't really play very many cancel characters, so it was weird for me to be, constantly canceling things and mix-ups and stuff like that. But he was fun. He was fun. I had fun with Scorpion, a little bit of a more of a rushdown character. With his teleport seemed a little bit too fast to me, honestly, but maybe that was just me, I don't know.
It's like 23 frames or something, I think I saw someone say.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is in MK11 or MK9, but I don't know. It just seemed a little quick. And then he had to worry about the meter burn part of it, so it's kind of like...
Yep. And that's the launching part. And it tracks, and that's like the bummer. Like, of course, it's a teleport, it's going to track, but you're going to... And it's not without its risks, right? Like,
Of course, it's
I
an
probably,
unsafe
of all the damage I did to everybody I played all weekend, I want to see like a little pie graph of how much of that damage I've dealt was punishing teleport. Because it's not impossible. Like, the annoying part of it is like having to wait for the amplify and then you can miss your punish. Like, it's like Phantom plus frames.
Yeah,
Almost.
and that was
on a negative move.
That was kind of like, it's like, it's a 50-50. Either I make, I keep the regular teleport safe, or I wait and punish, or the amplified part. So that kind of frustrated me a little bit playing the character because I got away with it so much. And I was
Right.
like, this is kind of stupid. But outside of that, I mean, admittingly, I don't think I played around a lot with his moveset. I kind of kept the Misery Blade because I felt like that was really strong. I didn't play with the chain stuff at all, but I played against some people who used it, and it seemed mediocre to me. Like, it just kind of added chip damage and didn't really combo into much. Like, if you could
It gives you new strings, I think, that variation, that chain reaction. Like,
Yeah.
it adds on to one of your strings, gives you like a new combo ender.
yeah, which
And
was,
it's enhanced by that other special that enhances all your spear moves. So that's normally just your regular
I do really
backboard
love the
one or
animation
whatever.
of it, though.
it seemed a lot less combo intensive and more like pressure and mix up based. And but I didn't really have any problems fighting it. I found ways to punish all of the chain moves every time.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yep.
it's like really unsafe for something that doesn't really do a whole lot. But again, having said that, only 3 days to play with it. I only played Scorpion for 1 day and didn't,
Yeah, I mean, it's still very early.
And it was crazy. Scorpions were still holding their own, right? Like, there was a lot of like disadvantage because it was really hard for them to stay safe. I wonder if they did that on purpose. A lot of people were saying he was way more negative than he was at the reveal build. Like, you couldn't even punish the amplified teleport, I don't think, at the reveal build. But I wonder if they just kind of overly made him negative because he's not quite polished up, he's not quite done yet.
So they wanted to play around
Just
with
so
the
he wasn't
option.
bodying, like, it wasn't just like 7-3 matchup or something because it was so out of
Yeah.
tune still with the other two characters. So they just kind of gave him a universal little nerf to tone him down a little bit.
Right. Yeah, it just makes sense, I guess, but I don't know.
Maybe. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, outside of the Misery Blade, which I guess like the overhead and the low were punishable, so it was kind of like if you guessed right, you were rewarded for it. But there was just too many mixes, right? Like he had strings that went into
It's a lot
overhead,
to keep
strings that
track
went into
of.
lows, and then like I started hitting people with the I know that you know that I know. Like I do like whatever the two hitting back, but is it back two that had the overhead of the second hit? It was like super far advancing.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so I do like the first hit of that into the Misery Blade, and they're thinking I'm going to go for a low because it's the second hit's an overhead, and I'm like, I'm just going to delay it for a second and then hit you with the overhead because you're going to be blocking low, thinking I'm going for the low. So I don't know. There was like a meta game with that. So
It's like doing manuals in Killer Instinct, like delaying your move and throwing off their timing and.
Yeah. Which was nice. I mean, that was another thing, too, is you could throw off the timing with the Misery Blade. It just felt like his strongest tool. Like, I keep, gushing about it, but all in all, it felt like his strongest tool to me in that the build that we played was a Misery Blade. I don't know if you guys played around with it at all, but that's kind of what I thought.
I played all Scarlet.
Yeah, I was mostly Scarlet, and then I messed around a little bit with Scorpion, but I think I did. I didn't really experiment with him too much. But yeah, most of my time was Scarlet. She was fun.
Makes sense.
And then Baruki.
Baraka, which, no secret, I was super excited for. We'll probably play the most of in the beta next week, but obviously I'm going to try Cabal and Jade. He was super fun. Every special move that I used was fun. Obviously biased opinion here, just FYI, because he's my favorite Mortal Kombat character. But yeah, he was just fun.
You almost have higher standards if he's your favorite, though. Like, how much of a bummer it wouldn't. It's not like you'd be making excuses for him. You'd be like, "Oh, he had so much potential and they fucked it up."
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? But he had good spacing. He struggled against zoning, which he absolutely should, because out of the 3 characters that I played, he did ridiculous damage compared to the other 2.
Totally. He makes up for all that damage. He's got to survive to get in, but once he's in, man, Jesus.
Yeah. There were so many matches where I lost 60% of my health to zoning and then made it all back and more when I came in, with one combo. So that's, he kind of reminds me of an MKX character in that way, that especially when you have that leap move that he does, holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing scarier than a patient Baraka that has that equipped.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then you have, the 3-way guess of, he's got the low, because his down 4 has ridiculous range. So does his back 4. He does, that little, spin around low swipe with his blade. That's actually surprisingly good, too. And then you have this command grab that hits mid. It's just the trade-off is that he doesn't do very many combos in that variation. So
right, but he gets his damage on mix-ups, just a little piece at a time, like Scarlet.
He chips you away. Yeah, for sure. The gutted move was by far his strongest move, I think, in all of his move sets. Well, I guess it's hard to say with the lunge too, because that creates an interesting guessing game. But
gutted allows you to chain those 3 crushing blows together for that super
insane
huge
damage.
Combo.
Yeah, you're giving up all your crushing blows for the match for one big combo, but at the same time it's a lot of damage. I think 584 was the biggest damage I did with all the.
And if you're in a comeback situation or something, and that and a fatal blow is like a health bar almost.
Which Baraka finds himself in most of the time anyways, because he's been zoned out for half the match. So by the time he gets in, he needs to make up for that.
I'm sure characters are balanced around that. And it's going to be really annoying about how some are better at managing their life and some have to sacrifice more. But that's part of the balancing.
Well, you think about it,
you excel in other sorts of areas, and sure, you have to make once you're in, you're making 2 good guesses to take my life bar. Whereas if I'm going to kill you, I've got to make 8 good guesses or something.
And that's what's interesting to me, and I found myself in this situation a couple times. I played against what's his name? Oh, Jackal. I think he was using Scarlet.
Yeah.
And I was using Baraka. Yep. And there was a couple matches, I think, where he got me down to 20% with pure zoning. And I managed to get in, did one combo, then did a fatal blow afterwards, and won the match. And it was that is 100% zoning versus rush down. That's how it works. You sit there for 40 seconds getting zoned out, slowly seeing your health go down, and then you get in and you get your game.
And it gets frustrating, right? That's the psychology behind the matchup and trying to get you frustrated, and you're gonna have to do something, right? You have to start moving, or I'm just gonna do this to you all day. And then you're taking damage because your timing's off or whatever, and your life's just going lower and lower and lower, and you're getting more and more frustrated, so you're making more and more mistakes, and next thing you know, you're dead. And that's really annoying, and that's why people hate zoning.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. 100% right.
But the key is to be patient. There's tools, there's counter tools to all all these things, and it's not going to be as bad as Injustice. And that was always my argument because I hated it in Injustice too. And it's like I know that they all have counters and there's ways to deal with them, but it's just like it's not fun for me to play against. I just don't have the enjoyment in it. Like it's not like the same way when you're trying to like out footsie somebody or
Well, the thing is with like Injustice is the screen was a lot bigger, so you were a lot farther from your opponent. It's not that big of a deal here in MK11.
Right.
You're a lot closer.
Like I saw people closing in from full screen with just like a couple jump ins and some walking.
Yeah, that's all it takes. And especially with the supposedly beefed up movement that they have in the final build, which we'll see. I hope we see a new build in the beta, just to kind of see some changes.
True. I agree. I'm also very glad that the stages are a lot smaller than in Injustice 2 as well. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, even as a Firestorm main, playing against Starfire was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. Real quick, before I get your guys' opinion on the stress test, I want to say that his flag moves, Hero Killer Stain was saying that he was doing some crazy stuff in the corner, but I really couldn't get much going with it. I don't know. Again, only a couple days to work with things, but I tried the combos and enders and using that flag smash where like hits you with it and then puts it down. That seemed to be the most useful one, where I could end a combo with it and then I'd have it up.
Yeah, and people were doing that on block and getting punished for it.
It's very whiff punishable. It's very punishable. I don't know. Like I tried to find some combos I could end and just like, instead of using a move, use that move, like whiff something into that move. So, I don't know. Couldn't find much. But that was just my take on the flag moves. I like the idea of the Leroy Jenkins charge he does with it. That was cool.
That's funny because on reaction, Scarlet could teleport. I'd do a far teleport, and he'd literally be still running away from me now. Towards the other corner, and then just blood tentacle, and now he's in the corner. I mean, I'm super far away, but it's you know how like just dumb happy he looks doing it anyway, and he's just like the complete opposite direction. Like you, it's like he's an ogre. He's got a very low IQ.
It whiffs just so bad, and yeah, because I was like running forever, and that was the same thing. Scarlet would teleport. I'm like, no, recover, like stop, like what are you doing? Then get punished for
They should probably add a cancel command then.
That would be really nice. I would
no, totally you got armor. You don't need that. You don't need anything else.
Imagine if I had a cancel command.
You give that cancel, then yeah, you're not giving him a fucking flash parry or something.
That's kind of broken. I will say that one low swiping move he does, where he stabs you with the flag.
The leg kebab thing?
No, not the leg kebab.
Oh, with the flag.
Yeah, with the flag. That actually does a lot of damage. That was like 250 damage for just that one move. So that could be useful in some situations, especially if you have Gutted equip. I can't remember because Gutted takes 2 spots. I think that one only takes 1 spot, so you could technically like end a combo with it. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't experiment that far, but that would definitely add for some decent dammy, as the kids say.
Dammy whammy.
So I want to get your guys' opinions on the stress test. I don't know, 50-50. Let's start with Shiro. What'd you think of the whole thing, Shiro? You played mostly Scarlet, and you said a little bit of Scorpion.
Yeah, mostly Scarlet, a little bit of Scorpion. Most of it was just trying to, figure out the strings, figure out what combos I could do. One thing that actually stood out a lot for me, and it wasn't even most of the gameplay, but the net code was really, 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 really good.
I agree.
I think I rarely had any lag, and the only time it was of course against Wi-Fi flares.
And it's nice that they differentiate that too. Like before you go into the match, you can see.
Oh yeah, no, I love that. I wish every single fighting game would do that. Every single fighting game needs to do that. But to my knowledge, Injustice, now MK11, I know DOA 6 has that feature. I can't think of any others on the top of my head, but I really wish it was something that other fighting games would do. Because if you don't want to dick around with Wi-Fi connection, you can just turn down that match. Don't even bother.
Well, that's the one thing that they introduced that in Injustice 2,
Mm-hmm.
but
right.
You couldn't. I don't think you could decline someone based on Wi-Fi, could you? Like if the ping was good enough, it still
Only in
forces you to
player.
play.
Only in player matches? Yeah,
Right, and that's why we could so the stress test was basically player matches, which is why we could also rematch infinitely.
Yeah.
I know there are certain situations in Injustice 2 where you could decline the match.
Yeah, I think if the connection was bad enough, it would.
Yeah, I think if the
let you,
ping
but
was
it
like
would.
insanely high. But most of the time, yeah, it would just automatically put you through. But yeah, the fact that you can just straight up decline, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, if you're like playing ranked and you see a Wi-Fi, like it should automatically come up with the option to decline them if you want.
I mean, it should just let you search like the way that
it should do
Soul
that too. They should
Calibur
have a
and stuff
filtering
like that
thing.
does, right?
Yeah,
Like the
that's an even
connection
better idea.
strength. So you could just say only search for LAN players and the connection strength's at least this. This is my target milliseconds, or you can just use a region or do whatever. And if you don't care about that sort of stuff, or you're just looking for games, then let the Wi-Fi in.
Yeah, I wish that was a possibility. Most of the time, like you can still set up the parameters for the signal bar strength, but most games that I've seen, they'll still pick up on wireless connections. But the thing is, even if you're on a 5-bar wireless connection, it's so intermittent. The
Right.
most randomest thing can happen, and then you're
The
just
problem
experiencing
isn't
a lot.
about the consistency. Like
Yeah.
it's usually not a problem of consistent lag. It's like spikes, right?
Oh yeah.
Because things get bottlenecked and they got to catch up. And
Or mom decides to use the microwave at the most inconvenient time.
The microwave. Jesus.
Ma, now's not the time for popcorn.
didn't you just have a hot pocket, you fat bitch?
Oh man.
After this match, fuck.
Talking about the netcode real quick, I just want to add that I had like almost zero problems. I think there was maybe 3 matches where it was like consistently 250 to 300 ping. But oddly enough, where I was having issues was on the first day, the victory poses would lag like hell.
Oh, jeez.
Just the victory poses. Like the game would be fine. Nothing would be wrong with the game, but then the victory pose would just lag like crazy. And like it wasn't people rage quitting because they didn't go back to the rematch screen. So it's like, okay, well, that's weird, but I'm not exactly sure why that happened. But
yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah, I
I don't
experienced
know.
that a few times.
Yeah, it happened like 6 matches in a row. Like the very first day I was playing. I think Hater was saying he didn't encounter it at all. But so it's good to know it wasn't just me.
I wonder if it was a lobby issue or something.
Could always be a possibility. Well, I mean, it was a stress test, so
That's the point of it, right?
yeah, that is the point. Brings me to another point. People need to understand the point of a stress test.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was another thing that like really got to me because it's to test the servers, and then of course everybody's awkwardly trying to lab it at the same time. Everybody's trying to learn their characters, and it's really frustrating when you're finally starting to pick up. Because I was learning Scarlet from scratch, and you're starting to pick up what your moves are, what the range is, figuring out your strings. You start figuring out the matchup, what to react best to, and it's like, okay, I'm starting to get the matchup here, and then the other motherfucker realizes and leaves. So, but yeah, that was most of my experience. It was pretty interesting, just because, yeah, I don't know if it was the same for everybody else, but I did not, I tried checking the move list even during the match and nothing came up for me. So I had to completely learn the moves and strings just by randomly pushing buttons. It wasn't until maybe hours later I was finally able to see the start menu. So I don't know why, because everybody else seemed to be fine. Because I remember even Sidelock in the Discord was like, just took the move list. I was like, what the fuck? I tried.
There's definitely a moves list. You're cursed.
Yeah, no, there definitely was, but for whatever reason, it wasn't working for me for a few hours. So I was like, okay, no training mode, and I can't view a move list in between intros. Cool, I'm totally just sink or swim right now.
Yeah, I would wait for fatal blows and things like that, and then go hop into a moves list and check something real quick. Or
fatal blow. Let me check my moves. Get a sandwich.
Stop.
They're actually not that long.
Yeah.
Like in the grand scheme of things, they kind of are, but they're really only 5 or 10 seconds or something.
Yeah. True.
I mean, 10 seconds is actually really long in that sort of setting. I don't think they're that long, though.
Ooh, one small thing. This doesn't really have to do with the stress test, but does kind of have to do with my experience and then some information that I found out in the last combat cast. So the game looks fantastic, and I flipped out when in the last combat cast, I don't know if y'all caught it, but they got a question if they were running the game on the Unreal 4 engine, and they said that they weren't, and it was actually a heavily modified version of Unreal 3, which really blew my fucking mind because I did not see any loading textures at all, which was a very iconic thing about Unreal 3. So that blew my mind because being able to finally actually play the game in person, like it looks great. It looks really good.
Yeah, that was
It does.
the lack of loading times in between matches and stuff.
I was expecting way longer loading times.
Super impressive. That was one of the big takeaways for me, honestly.
Yeah, but they've been using a modified Unreal Engine 3 for like the last few, like MKX and Injustice 2 are both, maybe even the other ones as well.
Well, Injustice 2 and MKX
kind of, like make their own, like based on that. But Unreal Engine 4 is like what Tekken and Soul Calibur and games like that are on, and there's like that some sort of inherent input lag. There's a 4-frame input lag or something like that. So if we had Unreal 4, then we'd have more issues in that regard.
Mm.
I've heard bad things about Unreal 4. Actually, that I don't know if it just had a bad launch or something. Somebody was saying it was actually a good thing that they were on Unreal 3.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like terrible, but yeah, it does have its issues. But yeah, again, like the meme with Unreal 3 was that when the game would load, like you just see like blobs as the texture, as you have to wait minutes for the textures to load up.
Right.
Yeah, and that was
go from like it's all the polygons generate and stuff like that, and then just kind of it's like downloading a JPEG in 1995.
Yeah, on dial-up. Oh man.
So your grandma calls.
Takes
I'm on
20 minutes to look at one.
Or a
picture.
GIF. I mean, they would show you just like the pixelated, and they would just get more definition as it downloaded. So it would do it like almost
trying
like
to watch
layers.
GIFs back in the day.
You guys remember the dancing baby? That was like the first meme ever.
From Ally McBeal.
This baby just like dancing around.
Oh,
and a peanut butter jelly time. Those were like the first memes.
Peanut butter jelly, peanut butter. Yeah, that was like back in the days of Newgrounds.
Oh, I remember Newgrounds. Hey, did you guys know that they put out a new Salad Fingers video like 2 weeks ago?
Put out a new site?
No, a new Salad Fingers. Remember that?
Oh, Salad Fingers. Oh, jeez.
He released a new video like 2 weeks ago out of nowhere.
Like to touch rusty spoons with my salad fingers.
Anyway, so I just thought that was some new trivia that I'd throw in there, but
no, it's cool. But so
anything else you want to say about the stress test there? Sure.
I think we'll pass on to Hater. Yeah.
Excellent. So Hater, your thoughts, start to finish, characters, crushing blows, all that kind of stuff. What do you think?
It was way funner than I thought it was gonna be. Like I transitioned into it a lot. There was obviously like a warm-up period and stuff, but I found it like exciting. It was fun. It wasn't very frustrating, and I don't know, I had a lot of fun. The netcode was really good, like we already kind of like talked about. As a chronic wake upper or whatever, I took full advantage, like trying all those options in the wake up system, and which led into like meter management. There's like so much going on. You're trying to learn so much. It was impossible for me to like keep track of my meter. I had a really hard time at first, like not spending it at all. And then I never had it when I wanted it, and I wouldn't check before I tried to like wake up or something. And so I'd wake up with a neutral jump trying to like up two. Like the really early games.
I like that the timing was pretty specific. It didn't feel like you could just match it out. You had to know exactly when to do it.
Yeah, and I threw out a lot, even if I knew that they didn't have a good chance of hitting. I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what I could get away with and what I couldn't. So I took a lot of losses just fucking around with stuff like that, which is fine. Yeah. What else? Crushing blows, I think, are super fucking fun. And I think it's another way of like, I kind of complained about micromanagement earlier, but this is like fun micromanagement. Like, just trying to bait certain things, or if Like, man, I definitely need to, like, you don't have the life lead or something, right? I've got to catch up. And so you're almost like fishing for them and you're just waiting. So I know that if I see him coming in, I'm going to try to punish him with the back 1-2 or something just to get the crushing blow out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
That deceiving damage over time that has, and the dude will be close to death before he even like realizes it. And it's cool to develop that sort of like strategy, and then you execute it right. You have a plan. You need to adjust on the fly as things don't go, as you
You don't got to worry
anticipated or
about somebody
whatever.
rushing you down all the time.
I mean, it had some really fun mind games. I don't think I
Mm-hmm.
was particularly good or did like super well or anything. I did well enough. Like I walked away feeling like I learned a lot, but as I've been watching, because I spent all my time playing, I was trying to like watch a few things here and there, but if I was spending time doing that, then I wasn't playing. So a lot of times I was like in my own little world. And now I'm seeing a lot of the things. Like I played Scarlet the whole time. I didn't use forward 4 a lot. That sort of stuff. I didn't enjoy like her lockdown zoning and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like against Baraka's, like you couldn't really do that against Scorpion, but I just don't.
Yeah.
That's what started to make me feel like a little reluctant about like really leaning into the character. Like at launch, it's like, I mean, I appreciate this for what it is. I don't think it's going to fit my style though. But every day since we haven't had the stress test, it's all I can think about. Like,
Oh yeah, you and me both, man. I'm right
I
there with
can't
you.
wait. I can't wait to get my hands back on her again and just ugh. And with like the big noob reveal today, I was like, oh my god, I have to play him. Maybe he'll be the one that I main or whatever, and I can play her on the side. And then just now, even just like talking about her, like
I thought
like
of you
moving
actually
back
when
to
I saw
the
the noob reveal. I was like, I bet Hater's gonna be pretty
dude. He just
interested in this
looks,
character.
yeah, he looks dark. Like his design is so cool, but I don't like to commit. Like Scarlet, I know I've at least had my hands on her now. I know that, if worse comes to worse, if I don't find another character, I'll be happy to invest in her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
Insurance
I'm not.
policy.
I don't like to blindly commit to characters. Like, yes, this is going to be my main, and then you pull it in a practice mode, and it's just like, man, I don't like any of your buttons. This feels weird. I don't like these cancels. I don't like the directional inputs, or I don't like, you just don't find your rhythm with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I try not to get too ahead of myself.
For
But
sure.
Kodo Khan, who I made in MKX, I mean, he looks awesome, but I don't think I'll play him in this game.
Doesn't really fit your playstyle per se.
I don't know. Like, it just didn't do much for me. Like, it was cool. And especially in contrast to, like, seeing Noob and stuff today, to where it was just like, ugh, you just get, like, almost those physiological reactions, like your adrenaline starts pumping. Like, you don't even realize how much you like it until, like, you see it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So he's the first one out of anybody we've seen so far that's kind of gotten that sort of reaction out of me.
I'm processing.
So we'll see who else.
I'm processing how hard it's going to be for myself when I get like 10,000 tweets about the Quan Chi DLC trailer. For me to wait till I get home so I can make a reaction video, because I don't make reaction videos about shit I don't really care about. Like, because like I watched the Noob Saibot trailer, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice touch. I like that. And I'm like, why do people like this shit? Like,
Right.
like, does everyone who like makes reaction videos like, oh?
No,
my
some are
God!
funny because you know how like Destroyers are always good because he's just such a character anyway. But I agree, most are kind of like, eh.
Yeah, it's like
Honeybee had a really
really
funny one today. The DLC reveal.
Oh,
His
yeah.
reaction video was super funny because he was so unimpressed. He was like so let down. He was like, "Oh, it's Shang Tsung. That's cool, I guess." Like there was no manufactured hype, no nothing.
That would be
Just-
honestly like
him.
100%. Like I got a message on Twitter today. Someone was like, "Hey, can you react to Noob Saibot?" And I'm like, "Well, I already did, and I didn't record it, so I could do it
Right.
again, but it would be like disingenuous or whatever. Like I don't know. So I don't know. Anyways, but like the Mortal Kombat 11 like actual game trailer, that was one that I waited to watch, and I actually did record my reaction to it because it was genuine and I cared about it. It was something that was important to me. Same thing if Quan Chi was to be like DLC or something. I wouldn't watch it. I would record it, react to it, because you know, I feel people want to see like a genuine reaction, right?
Would you cry?
Probably. I mean, I cried.
Would you cry and masturbate at the same time?
Well, let's not get into whether I have or have not done that before. But you know, worried about demonetization these days, I feel that wouldn't go so well.
The Schrodinger's box of.
Did I use a bad word?
At the same time, though, I mean, you can only see me from the chest up. So what's going on outside of the camera? Is anybody's guess.
Schrodinger's YouTube video framing.
Yeah. No, the nice thing about the demonetization thing on YouTube is like it goes to some random dude. He watches like the first little bit of it, and then decides whether it's, you know, monetizing or not. And since we're like almost 2 hours into a podcast, you know, unless he's sitting here like they're gonna fucking say masturbate. I can't fucking wait for them to say masturbate. So I can
no, they're like,
demonetize
these guys
this
are
video.
really interesting. This is cool. I got a little bit of time. I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get to that part and be like, oh, these bastards.
Now they're making me choose. Do I like them or my job?
Right.
So, anyway, that's my little,
just
that's
a little demonetization gnome in his little cubicle. Time to ruin another person's day. Gotta watch some videos.
What do you guys think about the breakaway? That
Yes.
seemed to be like a really hot topic. Like everyone has an opinion
Yeah,
about it.
Oates actually just came into the chat and said, like, have you talked about it yet? Which we haven't. And I think that we're going to probably spend a little bit of time on it. This might be how we close things out because we're going on 2 hours now. And I think we've talked about everything we want to. I think. Yes.
No, probably. I know, at least from what I've gathered of it, it just sounds like a typical combo breaker move, which I usually like in games, but those are usually more in the more fast-paced games. So in one like this where, you know, they're kind of going for that Street Fighter footsie style, I don't really know how I feel about it quite yet.
This is a little bit different in the fact that you can actually punish somebody who's comboing you by using it. That's the main gripe, is that at certain points in the combo, you can use the air escape, breakaway, you know, and you recover faster than them. So they whiff
and then immediately go on the offensive.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. So that's the big common examples. If you're already juggled and you know that Scorpion's about to cancel into his spear, you do your breakaway and he's in so much recovery, you can stand up, jump up and down 4 times, show him your ass crack, and then punish the shit out of him.
Show him your ass crack in that order.
You can do whatever you want. So that's like the big thing. But like I could totally see NRS just being like, look, and this is how I was on Test Your Mind. And like I gave like my 2-sentence opinion about it. It was basically, this is how I feel about it. You can think that I'm an asshole or that I'm not thinking deeply enough about it or whatever, but I just don't think this game is not designed to give you your big dick damage every time that you open somebody up. Sure, you should be rewarded for your punish and all of that stuff, but you need to be aware of those sorts of resources. And it's not just like baiting it, right? Like I've been watching a lot of people, like Gun Show was reacting to every single one. Wasn't overcommitting because of the dial-in system. So like 2-1-2 on Scarlet, you can hit that last 2 really late. And you can react to the breakaway and just like neutral jump, and they can't wake up because they don't have any defensive bar left. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
And then they're just like right back into pressure, which sucks. It's not as big as your big cash out, but it's just like more of like the mind game of what's happening. And I think overall, I'd rather just not have it. Like, I don't know how many matches I've watched where I've been like, oh, sweet. Nope. Like, it's like blue balls. Like, oh, here we go. Oh, nope. Here we go. You know?
Yeah, because when I initially heard about it, my first thought was just, well, I'm certain, you know, just in every other game, like in Guilty Gear, with the burst system, you just learn how to just do frame traps to bait it. But also in Guilty Gear, when you burst out of a combo, you push them back. You essentially just reset the neutral. And so, but yeah, now finding out that you can do that and just immediately like punish and go back onto the offensive, I kind of have like a bit mixed feelings of it. If you can,
it's really quick recovery right now. Like you can bait it, but it's like they have armor on the way down, right? If you're caught in any sort of recovery, so like,
but they'll still be in your face.
Scarlet Cell Siphon, right?
Yeah,
and that's the thing, is that they drop down right in front of your face, and then they just wake up and do a combo like while you're in recovery.
They drop down right in front of your face. They have armor, so
on the way down, and so that's another problem, right? So with the dial-in thing, you've done your string and you already have your special queued up. or buffered in, and that last part of the string they drop out, but that last hit of the string clips their armor on the way down. That counts as a hit, and the special comes out, and that's what leaves you in all that recovery.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
So it kind of like takes the steam out of everything, and it's just kind of, I don't know. I think a lot of it depends on how.
Take the armor off. Take the armor off. If they're still dropping, they're in your face. If from baiting it, cool, but they shouldn't have armor. You should be.
I just feel like it's just how often it's going to be there. As it is right now, it just can happen too often. I don't know if that's just meter regen or if that is. It should be like a fatal blow or something, or a crushing blow where you get like not one per game, but one per match or some sort of set.
Another thing they should probably do is that if you utilize that, then they should probably like decrease the rate that you recover your meter.
I mean, you really just need to get people off their defensive bar, right? Like, knock them down, harass the shit out of them. If they've got 2 bars and you just open them up, like, you're not going to be able to cash out on your 30-40% combo or whatever, but you're not at that point in the game yet. Like, you can't just, blow your load at that point. They're gonna make you work for it a little bit more, right? So instead, knock them down, start harassing them on wake up, pressuring them, and getting them using the bar. And when they do, just hope that it's not fucking back by the time you're able to. That's the kind of like problem. Like, I feel like it's still, I think that's like 10 seconds or something like that for it to come back. That's, man.
I was gonna say, does anybody from NRS listen to your podcasts? These are some ideas.
So, okay, I've been listening to you guys quietly, just kind of collecting my thoughts, because I'm a little bit on. No, not entirely, but I'm a little bit on the opposite side of you guys. I like the idea. I like how it works. I like that it takes both defensive bars. What I don't like about it is the fact you can use it after a crushing blow.
Right.
Because I was playing a guy, and I was in my Baraka variation that doesn't really have the best combos. So when I was punishing with 1-2-2, I'd get my crushing blow launcher, and he would just wait for that and every time just drop out of it.
Yeah,
it was frustrating.
And that's got to be annoying.
Because
and you would think. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
That was my only way of getting damage in that variation. I was using Flag Day, which all the flag stuff, which is I rely on that launcher. So if the only nerf I would honestly give it is just to make it so it doesn't come out on crushing blows, because it does use 2 bars of defensive meter, so whatever, can't wake up.
But it's something you don't have access to at all for the whole rest of the game. So they don't necessarily get their punish on you. They've just robbed you of your crushing blow or the continuation, like the launch that came after.
Which could be a game-changing move.
It could, but it could be the same scenario, right? Like catching Scorpion in the recovery of his spear. Like, can't necessarily, if they've got 2 bars, be very reluctant to go for that crushing blow. Be working on getting them spending their bars, and then, but then... But I know that's like easier said than done. I don't know what their mindset is, or what their train of thought was when how they realized this in the meta.
Because what I would think is like with something so dramatic as crushing blow, like not just the name, but like the animation too, you would think that it would shut down something like that.
Well, like a meter burn back 3 is on an air escape and Injustice, right?
Yeah,
like why couldn't they just do something like that?
And maybe they did, but like we forget that we played an early version of the game in the stress test, right? So
true.
It's not all
it's not the final product.
Yeah, it's not what we're getting. So let's not freak out about it.
Yeah, we know NRS is actively changing it. They already changed like what the dash ins and stuff.
The other thing that actually I didn't really think of until like late Sunday afternoon was that you can roll on wake up. And when I think I had like 20 games where I practiced. Like all I was doing was just rolling on wake up, and it was extremely effective because
whiff punish the shit out of people.
Like Scorpion's forward 2, for example, he could usually punish that or cancel that into like his misery blade. But if I whiffs because I rolled, then he's just whiffed an entire string, and I get a full combo punish because he did. And that's like that was something that was incredibly unused in all the matches I played. Not a single person rolled. It looked like it was an accident when they did.
I forgot it was in the game. I didn't realize it till like day 3 as well. And I was like, because I never saw anyone use it. It was just, I remember it. Like once it kind of came up, I was like, oh yeah. And then I tried it,
Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, well I can kind of get behind a breakaway taking 2 bars because your rolling can actually whiff punish more heavily than a breakaway can with only 1 bar. So like, what's the more like? Why aren't we talking about the roll more? That's kind of my mindset. My only issue with the breakaway was after the crushing blow.
I think the big problem is that you've already hit confirmed into a punish, right? You fucked up. So that was what was so annoying about counters or combo breakers in MKX, is that as soon as you get in, if you're struggling to get in or whatever, as soon as you open them up, or they can just do something stupid, because if you punish them, they can just break it. So like promotes like this high risk, like whatever. It's almost like a get out of jail free card, or like a fuck it, like a why not sort of thing.
Right.
So I think that's people's big issue with it, right? Like, I just spent my bar to launch. I punished. You did something dumb. I punished you. I just spent resources to extend this. And now, instead of me getting my damage, you're getting damage on me. At the expense of both your defensive bars.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. I didn't mind it. Like I said, only change I would make, crushing blows, eliminate that for the rest of the combo, or at least put it on a cooldown or something. Because like, maybe if you're Scorpion, where you do like a bunch of damage or decent damage over like a long amount of time, maybe like 2 seconds in, then you can do it. But like Baraka, where I do like literally like a crushing blow and then 1 move into a special, and that's my combo. Like, come on, man.
Right.
You know, at least give that to me.
Man, jeez, that feels bad. Feels bad, man.
Totally feels bad, man. Hashtag feels bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else about breakaways we need to cover?
I mean, I don't know. I'm really just going off theory because I don't think I actually personally experienced it while playing. So,
okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah.
I saw it a lot. I saw it a bunch. I did it a bunch, and it was done to me a bunch. People do it against Scarlet too early. They'll do it as soon as they get lost, or as soon as they get launched by like a 2-1-2, but she still got another 2-1-2 and a 4-4 into her trance. If you want to punish her, you have to wait for the 4-4. But by then, the combo's pretty much over, right? So that's another part of the argument, is that some characters just get punished way harder than other ones.
Yeah, that's true.
So she gets the same punish against her, catching her in recovery, but she's already done more damage. Like, she's at the very end of the tail of her combo.
Mm. Yeah, that What do you think of that trance? By the way, like, I feel like she doesn't really have much hit advantage.
She can't really do
Not
much,
on the non-meter
so
burn one. On the meter burn, I think she's like +7, so she can get a forward 4.
Yeah, usually what I found myself doing was I would try to see if I could outpoke them, because maybe they might try to respect it, or just like go for a grab if they try to do anything.
So that was really common to see Scarlets do.
Yeah.
People just mashing down 2s, punishing your grab out of that, and mashing their way out of it or whatever. Forward 2s seem to keep it under control since it's a mid.
Yeah, there's another one too.
And it's only the second hit is a low, the forward 4-3, and that is -1 on block. So it can kind of be like a stagger. She can special cancel it. She can just stop, and she can go for a poke, or if she thinks they're going to poke, and she can shimmy, or she can go right back into another 4-3 and hit confirm that into another trance and spend the bar and put them in the exact same situation. So if you don't know how to handle that little stagger, or that little mind game that she's trying to establish there, then she can do that. So for as long as she has meter, get through it a couple times. And that's, if she spends 2 bars to do that, 2 iterations of that. So you got the first iteration that got you into it. First bar spent, you go into it again. Second bar spent, you go into it again. She doesn't have another bar to spend, but she just gained back 200 health, and then all the damage she did while she was just, mixing you.
Yeah.
So she kind of gets that from it. That's why people think it's so strong. Like, you saw that on most Scarlets, the same way that you saw chain reaction, fucking Misery Blade on most Scorpions.
What did you think? Did you think that like making her a zoner was the strongest thing of her, or did you like the restand?
You're cutting up there, buddy.
Oh.
I didn't hear that question.
Yeah. Sorry. Did you think that having her more heavily zoning was like her best kind of variation, or did you find that?
I
'Cause
used the O negative and added the parry. So I used the teleport, the parry, and the cell siphon. Almost the whole time. I experimented a little bit with a couple of the other moves, but I like teleport's like the kind of move that gets me into trouble, but I also like using it as a tool, and it works out more times than it doesn't. It fits my risk assessment, whatever my pathology is. Same with the parry, and then just the cell siphon for not even just the restand, but just to get the health back. I like that whole idea, and that actually saves me a lot. That 100 health goes a long way. I won a bunch of matches that ended with me being less than 100 health. That had I not been able to do that, I would have just lost before I had a chance to win. Like,
damn.
it doesn't seem like a lot, but it definitely will go a long way.
Oh,
Especially
yeah,
when you're doing damage at the same time. So you're not just gaining that health, you're taking their health away. So the gaps in life leads can change very quickly against Scarlet.
Yeah. I definitely felt like zoning was more of her strong suit. I know her buttons were pretty slow, but I don't know. I felt it was a decent takeaway. Because like her down 3 didn't seem that bad. Her forward, yeah, like her forward 2 and her 2-1-2. Back 1 was like real slow. I don't know how I felt about that one. But I really didn't like her close range game at all. So
Not face to face, no. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I felt...
and that's where the forward 4 sort of stuff starts too. And I don't want to go back there. Kind of like that mid game. I don't like hanging out and zoning and stuff. She's got good tools.
A lot of the time, I'm just like trying to press down 1 just to hopefully get out of something.
Yeah, I used a lot of down 2 and down 1 just when she was up close because but I was happy about that because like as soon as they were up on me, I was like, oh, I can't do shit up close, and I was like, well, that's good though because I have like space control and zoning.
Yeah.
Like, she should have
the
a weakness.
balance,
That's
right?
The balance, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So.
Yeah,
I was okay.
That's why when I saw
personally.
some people like complaining about her buttons, I was like, well, look at the character that she is. So
I mean, that's why it's cool to kind of like if she's got defensive options, right, to keep you out when you're trying to get in. So like her versus like Jackie, where Jackie wants to be right up in your face, or Kana wants to be right up in your face, and that's the last place on the screen that she wants to be is like right up next to you. I feel like.
Yeah.
So her whole game is keeping you at that optimal range for her, keeping you there or further back from there. And if you can't do that, you get outplayed, and you're gonna get fucking eaten alive until you can.
The knockback on the tentacle, holy shit! Like you
Ooh,
could, yeah. Like
it used to be worse, apparently.
If you're not like right up in her face, like the mid one, even the mid one, like knocked you full screen, and she was back to her game again.
Yeah, they reduced the pushback on block, but yeah, on hit, ugh.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like any
you
hit,
can jump over it though. If people are having a hard time dealing with that, you can jump right over it.
Send you all the way back to the end of the screen.
Yep.
I was using a lot of down 4 into it, and it was catching a lot of people because they were just blocking the down 4, and then they get hit by it, and they're like, "Oh shit, now I'm full screen again." Yeah, move in down 4.
I like her down 4.
It's really good. Her back 4 is probably better, honestly, but it's still really good too.
Her little whip, she's got like that Catwoman whip trip.
Yeah, it works well because, like, especially in this game when you're spacing a lot, right? And they're just kind of like walking back and forth, trying to find the right spacing, and then, damn, there goes your feet because you're not blocking low.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be fun getting into like practice mode and seeing what you can do with the hit advantage off something like that and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's we have 5 minutes until we officially make this 2 hours. Oates wants to know chip kills, yay or nay? What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm so used to chip damage in fighting games. It's whatevs for me, really.
I think it depends. I've heard a lot on like the debate, like, well, only specials should do it or something like that, or there's games that don't have it, and when I play those, it's weird. Like, 'cause I expect to be dead. Like, as long as you're blocking, like, you're just fine, right?
Yeah, like the one I think of off the top of my head is the Tekken. Did they change it how it works in Street Fighter? I don't even remember.
I think they did.
I think
don't
maybe
think,
in
I
Street
don't think
Fighter
Chip.
specials do, but normals don't or something.
Right.
Yeah, I know
Anyway,
yeah.
to answer the question, it is so lame to be at like critical health or something, but your opponent has a tracking move, and there's just literally nothing you can do about it. So how many
Right.
times I died to chip death to a scorpion teleport or something like that?
I do kind of wish
That's
that
just annoying. Or to like Scarlet's aura, like dot damage, dying to dot damage, like that sort of
Yeah.
like chip. Dumb.
Yeah,
I
you
would
shouldn't die
appreciate that.
to dot damage. I'm definitely down with that.
I
Dot
mean, it's the
damage.
argument you got yourself there in the first place, right? Your health down that low.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
so now you reap what you sow, but
I agree with like maybe chip damage killing kind of thing, but like I don't know. I don't think that like dot I don't know, dot damage is something you can't avoid, right? So it's I don't know. It's it's hard to argue that that's a good strategy, honestly.
Just dot you to death.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. That's all there is to it. But
You know, I would appreciate it if they had like little icons, like the victory icons, to kind of show like if you won, if you lost to chip damage or something like that.
right.
I would appreciate that. I don't think it's like a make or break thing, of course, but
Yeah.
it'd be cool. I'd like that. But
yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
really
death on
against
chip
death.
is lame, but I'm not a designer either. I'm sure there's plenty of counter arguments and stuff like that that would probably make sense to me, but I'm not like a fan of the idea.
Well, one thing that I find is that like throws, like they have a certain amount of damage for like the initial throw, and then more damage when you actually tech the throw. So one thing I'd like to see is that all the damage is, if you tech the throw, you don't take any damage. And in MKX, I noticed that a lot. That someone would throw me, and then
It does
did-
damage when they grab you, and then you got the damage of the throw on top of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So if I was on like my last I don't know, pixel health or whatever,
They can
You
just
just go
grab you,
for
and
a
it doesn't
throw,
matter if you tech.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, 50
Okay,
50s
yeah,
and
that's
grabs.
annoying.
So if all the damage was done after I successfully did a throw, that would be better. But
Yeah, I think that's an interesting topic. No damage on tech throws. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
It doesn't even make sense to me. like the fact that you take damage from being grabbed, like literally makes no sense to me.
yeah, because then you got like a 25, 25, 25 kind of guess, right? Like overhead, low, throw, and which
Yeah.
direction, right? So
Yeah, that's weird. I really question that decision.
yeah.
It's been that way, though. It was that way in Injustice as well, right?
Wow. I guess I just never really quite paid attention to it. I
Was
just
it?
took for granted.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've paid attention to any of that sort of detail to Injustice, so I don't remember if Injustice has it, but MKX definitely has it.
Yeah,
And you noticed it in
MKX
MK11.
definitely has it. It's stupid, and like making a successful read on a throw was like you didn't get much from it because they recovered so fast. So hopefully in MK11 you recover a little bit slower from that same situation.
What, from a whiff
Whiff throw.
throw or from a tech throw?
No, from a whiff throw, because like you have to read the throw, right? So like if you read they're gonna throw, you let go a block. I found it in MK11 in the stress test. There wasn't. I did it a couple times outside of an uppercut. There wasn't really a whole lot I could get from trying to punish a whiff throw. But maybe that was just me. I'm just old. My reactions aren't the greatest. But I don't know. It didn't seem to whiff for very long.
I definitely saw some punishes. I never did any myself, but I don't know if that's just if they weren't blocking afterwards or if that was a punish, but I saw some just like stand up and then just going into strings.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. The beta that comes out this Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a newer update or whatnot.
Is the 28th? Is that right? No.
27th is when it's going to start for the US, for the region. I think
Okay.
everywhere except for Australia, Asia and Australia.
Yeah,
Okay.
Probably because of the international timeline and all that stuff.
Yeah, because the 27th is Wednesday. So.
It's going to be the evening. It's going to be like 9 p.m. for me on the 27th, so it may as well be the 28th because I'm going to have to work. So I've got to sleep
Womp
and all
womp.
that shit. I might pop in for a second and fuck around with some gear options for Jade and Cabal and kind of just see what they have. And
Yeah, I'm definitely. It's longer than the stress test. I think it goes from Wednesday to Sunday, I believe.
Ooh.
I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I think it goes to. But
did we talk about Jade and Cabal at all? We mentioned they were gonna.
Yeah, we mentioned they were going to be in the beta.
yeah, we talked about them a little bit.
Jade looks cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try both of them. I'm more so Cabal because he seemed like a more of a setup character. I think so. I want to try King too.
Revenant Jade looks so good. I love the way like that
Interesting.
outfit looks.
Yeah, that kind of threw my mind for a loop as far as story mode goes.
For sure. I can't wait. I can't wait
What,
to try
the Revenant
King out.
one?
Yeah, because I mean that's post MK9, right? And
Yeah, so that's present day Jade and present day Cabal are the Revenant versions, and then the non-Revenant ones are ones that Chronica brings back from the past
yeah, so it's
or
interesting
earlier in the
that, like,
timeline.
they decided to show off the Revenant Jade first in the stream.
Yep.
And
I think that's probably like, so Scarlet's in that same scene, right? When everyone's going to be summoning, she's already, or is being summoned. She's already there, like when Aaron Black like rolls in and stuff like that. And that's when they introduce her with that long hair. And that is in one of her skins, obviously. But her default is the one where she's like all covered up, right? If anybody knows that style that they took that influence from, I'd be interested in knowing. I heard somebody say that it was like some sort of like Middle Eastern, like a desert sort of like traditional garb. So I'm wondering if that is present day Scarlet, like post Shao Kahn death and, you know, MKX comics and all that stuff. And then our long haired one is comes back with Shao Kahn and stuff, like as an Imperial
that makes
guard,
sense.
as it says that she is in her bio and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out when the game drops.
Yeah, how old do you think that Shao Kahn is while we're on that subject? I heard an interesting theory about that armor with the big bunny ears or whatever it looks like it could be from
Bunny ears.
Onaga's army. And he's got the dragon scales and all of that stuff. So it's like an old, like a pre-usurping of Onaga
Oh, okay.
from him. Like, so he hasn't absorbed all the other souls and stuff. And maybe he shed the scales as he kind of evolved over time, sort of thing. So this is like a young one when he's still a general in that army, but I guess they'd have to kind of confirm Onaga at the same time.
I was going to say that would kind of feed my Onaga theory that Chronica is actually Onaga. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that video.
I did see it.
Yeah, so that would totally, like, yeah, cool. I'm on board with it, obviously, so be interesting, but I don't know.
Dink with his tinfoil hat. It's Onaga!
It's Onaga! Onaga's turning the frogs gay!
They're like that weird guy that works at the paint store. He's screaming about like dragon lords again.
I just wanted a quart of paint, that's all. I hear about some dragon lord. Alright guys, any final words? We've gone through everything. I don't think there's much more we could talk about, so.
Yeah, we went through a lot.
We did.
A lot.
This was a big podcast because there was so
We
much
did.
to
It was
talk
almost
about.
too much. Yeah,
It was.
a lot's been happening.
And then I know, like, the moment, like, we stopped recording, we'd be like, oh man, we forgot to talk about this.
Well, we always do that.
Yeah.
Old
So
man
next
syndrome.
week we've got so there's probably not going to be a podcast for a little bit, right?
Yeah,
We're all
we'll
going to be
probably-
playing Mortal Kombat next weekend.
Yeah, so the beta will be next week. So we'll probably the weekend after just to talk about the beta, Cabal, Jade, that kind of thing.
There'll probably be reveals and all of that stuff maybe in the meantime.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, they could do another combat cast next week that we just aren't prepared
might.
for. So either way, and they may release like more stuff, you know. Maybe there's a character reveal that shows more of what Noob can do outside of, you know, this trailer or something. I don't know.
Very true.
I'm excited for his breakdown. They confirmed that he is going to get a combat cast as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
good. Yeah, good. I'll have to go back and watch. I have to find the footage of the C2E2. Did they stream that on the NetherRealm Twitch?
I believe so. I believe they should have it on their YouTube as well.
Okay,
Their YouTube channel.
I'll watch that tonight as some.
I watched it on YouTube. They robbed us of the first couple little story things. They cut away like it was
Oh.
fucking Comic-Con, like it was media blackout or something for this exclusive footage for the people that just had tickets to be there,
Lame.
which
I
was like
heard-
lame. And they must have like reamed somebody because we saw the rest. Like if they would have done that for the Noob reveal and stuff, people would have gone fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah, I heard that some guy like recorded like Shao Kahn versus Kotal Kahn like on his phone.
yeah, that was one of the things that they edited that they didn't let get streamed for some reason. And there was another, apparently a Chronica thing, a short little snippet. Because that's what they were talking about afterwards, that first cutaway.
Right.
And I'm fucking excited for this game, this story.
Dude, how secretive they're being about everything just makes it so much better. Like, I mean, the leak that happened was like really unfortunate because like they were doing such a great job of like keeping everything under wraps, you know, especially like the fact that they kept it up until December to actually announce the game. like I hope that they actually, I don't know. It's weird because like I was really hoping that it didn't happen this year, that they had like one more extra year to kind of work on it, and then they'd spend like one more extra year supporting it. So the support is really what I'm concerned about. I hope that because they have a habit of like, yeah, here's 8 months of content and nothing for a year.
Right, and it's going to go platinum a year from now. We're going to have the complete edition, which comes with all the DLC that's already been released. We'll get like, are we going to get the Injustice treatment where they give us like the Legendary Edition and one last balance patch and just like, all right, see ya, you know?
Yeah, like that last balance patch for Injustice 2 was so close to being good. There was like 3 or 4 fixes that would have made the game great, and it just, I don't know.
I kind of wish they would just kind of like follow the model like with some other games and just, you know, do seasons. Like, I really wish they would kind of do that.
Yeah, like you have your release, you have your DLC, that's fine. I get that you have to make money. I get that people aren't going to be excited about it. But
and
add
like,
characters every so often then. Like, the whole idea
and
of
they can still sell their little gold edition or whatever, because...
You have this great foundation. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have this great foundation. May as well just build on it then, rather than reinventing the wheel every 2 years. Give yourselves a fucking break. They need to find a way to be profitable. I'm sure most of their profit comes from like the first month of sales or something.
Oh yeah.
Like a new product and everybody wants it, so something that like long over time would count on like the user base that sticks around. There's probably more money in just doing the 2-year scramble.
Yeah, I mean,
and
like,
there is actually sustaining it. Like,
yeah, like they, instead of having like something big to announce every 2 E3s, like every E3 they have, here's the newest season of Mortal Kombat with character X adds new storyline to the story mode. Here's an extra chapter of story mode. Here's a couple extra arenas. And these
that would
two
be
characters.
fucking cool.
Yeah. And so that keeps the competitive players involved in the fact that, you know, they're constantly having to evolve with these new characters and stuff that are coming along. And it also keeps the casual involved that, like, okay, well, now, you know, it's at E3, so it's like a big thing, of course. And then, so they have, you know, here's Havoc and Reiko or whatever, right? So it's, I don't know, I think there would be a smarter model for them, but they've had this 2-year cycle forever, so who knows if I don't know the numbers, right? That's the thing. I don't know how successful. Maybe it's been incredibly successful. I know that the Sub-Zero skin and the Ermac skin from MKX made almost 100 times more money than they were expecting it to make.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like they were expecting to make like something like $70,000, and they made almost $1 million from both skins. And that's fun. That was the only reason they had ESL Season 3. Was because of the profits from that. I can't tell you my source on that. I just can tell you that it's very, very viable. That's all. But yeah, so I mean, people have already shown that they want a system that works like that. So I don't know. I hope they do it. Will they? I probably not. Time will tell.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't bet on it for sure, but it'd be nice. Tekken does it. Street Fighter does it.
Tekken, if you include like
Dragon
arcade
Ball.
years, it's in like year 6 or something. That would be fucking awesome.
Oh,
playing
yeah,
Mortal Kombat 11 5 years from now, and
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
them still kind of paying attention to it and introducing characters and patches and things like that.
Yeah, no, Tekken 7's been going on for years until before North America finally got it on console.
Yeah, and DOA 6 is not as popular of a game. Or, sorry, DOA 5, I think, has been going on for even longer than Tekken.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Shiro,
DOA 5.
Shiro, were you the one that was telling me about, like, how long they've been, like, working on that whole DLC thing or whatever?
Yeah, like, that game, like, lasted, like, years.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last time, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, not only was it DOA 5, because they had the vanilla DOA 5 release, and then maybe, like, 2 years they had DOA 5 Ultimate, and then, sometime after that they did DOA 5 Last Round. So, yeah, they updated and supported that game for quite a while, adding new characters and stuff in there. So, I'm not going to be surprised that they follow a similar model with DOA 6. They're already started their free-to-play, quote-unquote free-to-play model. So they do have where you have, like, free characters. You can purchase characters to actually own them. So they already started that shit.
And that was the big controversy with them, like, having, like, the $130 season pass.
Oh, what? You, like, completely cut out.
Oh, sorry. That was the controversy with them having.
Oh,
like,
you cut out again.
Oh, okay. Take 3. Who hired this guy? What the fuck?
Right.
That was the controversy with them having the $130 season pass.
Yeah.
Is that it covered everything, but for like 8 years. So, like, you're good to go, right? I think,
well,
if I understood it correctly.
It'd be nice if it was 8 years. It's like a few months.
Well, I don't know. The first, like DOA 5, like they had the season pass that was pretty expensive, but you got your money's worth, right?
Yeah, I think they had up to like 6 or 7 season passes for that game, and they were all around that price range, like $99, $100, and it's just okay. You get like the costume packs that they release for that period of time, and any new characters that they included, like Mai was one of them, Neo Tengu. So yeah, the DOA 6 season pass, that one is gonna have Mai Shiranui from KOF. Then apparently the second character is also gonna be coming from KOF as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I find it interesting that they're pulling like 2 characters from KOF into that game series, or into their roster. Because it kind of would be cool if they were to bring back some of the Virtua Fighter characters.
Although I agree with it, I also have to say that we should probably end it here because we're starting to get a little bit, off topic of Mortal Kombat.
We're almost about to hit 2.5.
Yeah. So thank you very much to Hater and Shiro again for coming on. We have this great panel that we bring on every time to talk about things. So, and thanks. We had about 100 viewers during this whole podcast. So thank you guys very much for bringing it up. And yeah, that being said, if you're watching this on the replay on the YouTube channel, you can like it, subscribe to get notified for more. Hashtag Big Dink Energy is the new hashtag we're using because it's excellent.
It's sexy.
Isn't it? Totally. That's what everyone wants, right? Hashtag Bonehawk, of course.
Energy.
I'm gonna audio clip that for like my subs on Twitch. All right, guys, everyone, have a good night. We'll see you in a couple weeks for the next one.
Subscribe to Boss's Dragon.
That too.